And in this case, this tree is 21 inches diameter. Now the other method of doing this, which is probably more for typical homeowners, is everyone's got a tape measure in their garage. I got 67 inches in circumference. So now we just have to convert that to diameter. And to do that, you're going to want to pull out a calculator. Take the circumference and divide by pi, which is 3.14. So I got 67 divided by 3.14, and I got 21 inches.
At the City of Northport, we are here to serve you. And there are many ways to connect with us. You will always find friendly faces when you come to City Hall. When you first walk in, you will see our Customer Care Center. The Care Center helps customers who call into the city to get answers they need in a timely fashion. Our Care Center has helped more than 10,000 customers last month alone. Next to the call center, you will find the self-service kiosk for code enforcement and building divisions. Using the QR code or by visiting our website, you can schedule your appointments with ease. Have you checked out our website? From employment opportunities to building codes, you can find just about anything using the search bar. Finally, you can download the North Report app and submit non-emergency issues to City Hall in less than a minute.
Good morning, everybody. Are you getting through the time change blues? Anyway, today is Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. It is 10 a.m. and we are in City Chambers. I call the City Commission regular meeting to order. Commissioners present are Commissioner McDowell, Commissioner Stokes, myself, Mayor Langdon, Vice Mayor White, and Commissioner Emmerich. There is a quorum present for this meeting. Also present are City Manager Fletcher, City Attorney Slayton, Recording Secretary Powell, who's flying solo today, evidently, Captain Paul Harvey up in the back for police, and Deputy Chief Scott Lane for fire. Recording Secretary, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm requesting a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Ooh, that was a tie, just to shake. We have a motion on the floor to approve the agenda. The motion maker was Commissioner Emmerich, seconded by Commissioner McDowell. Let's vote. I'm not seeing a tally on that report. Oh, there it is. Okay, that motion passes 5-0. Recording secretary, do we have any online public comment?
We do not.
I do have a card in-house, Ms. Jackie Laffler. Would you come forward, please? And you have 3 minutes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate the time that you took on March 6, 2023, and focused on the tree fund during that workshop. My comments will be in response to that workshop and solely focused on the tree fund. I'm elated to hear the commissioners speak of the trees and the natural environment that have proven to be integral and beneficial to Northport. Candidly, I'm shocked that it took so long for the tree ordinance to be adopted and signed into code. Now that the tree fund is established and growing at a surprising rate, it's time for you to move swiftly. Please don't take as long figuring out how to manage this tree fund as you did getting the ordinance written. And thank you for getting that ordinance written. It's time to protect the sanctity and reality that trees are a fundamental of life, just like water. They give us oxygen, they house wildlife, they provide shade, they disintegrate into nutrients, they beautify our city and provide endless hours of comfort and peace. We can't exist without them. There must be a role in Northport that protects the turtles, the trees, the butterflies, the bees, and the manatees. Essentially, the city of Northport needs a keeper of the environment, a partner to Mother Nature. Northport needs a true environmental advocate, defender, protector, and voice for wildlife, flora, fauna, waterways, and anything endangered or non-indigenous. Now is the time to assign the tree fund to a commissioner. Somebody put their hand up. Who wants this job? A commissioner that focuses on the value of our natural pristine ecosystem and to manage the tree fund. The tree fund requires strict governance and proactive oversight. Northport is abundant in wildlife because of trees. Someone needs to own the responsibility of managing the tree fund while protecting everything that is nature. This commissioner would interface with Parks and Recs, Planning and Development, Public Works, the Northport Conservation Officer, the EAB, Arborist, Environmental Specialist, FWC, DEP, EPA, Northport Conservancy, County Works, and many, many other partners to ensure integrated strategies are employed when improving and developing our city. This role must understand budgets, ROI, and the delicate balance of business, emotion, and action-oriented decision-making. Most importantly, this role must understand the need to acquire land to save our city for many, many years to come. If you can live without oxygen, you can live without trees. But if you need oxygen to live, you need trees. Let's put the right person in charge to manage the tree fund. A commissioner respects and understands residential stability, tranquility, and harmony with corporate advances in design, development, and growth. Acquisition is key to protecting and conserving the environment of Northport. Please do not waste precious time and allow the fund to be picked apart by other departments or inappropriately allocated because accountability is lacking. Please use it earnestly for what it was created to do. Save our pristine ecosystem and all of its inhabitants. Conserve, preserve the available land that currently exists in Northport by using the tree fund to acquire more.
You are out of time.
I'm
Thank you
done.
very much. Good timing. Excellent
you.
timing. Moving on to announcements, item number 23-0153. Recording Secretary Powell, could you read the vacancies and upcoming expirations for advisory boards and committees.
Current vacancies and upcoming expirations for board and committees. The current vacancies for the following boards and committees include Art Advisory Board, Audit Committee, Charter Review Advisory Board, Citizens Tax Oversight Committee, Community Economic Development Advisory Board, Environmental Advisory Board, Police Officers Pension Trust Fund Board of Trustees, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, Planning and Zoning Advisory Board, Veterans Park Advisory Board, and Zoning Board of Appeals. Upcoming expirations for the following boards and committees: Charter Review Advisory Boards, Parks and Recreation Advisory Boards, Citizens Tax Oversight Committee, Environmental Advisory Board, and Veterans Park Advisory Board. Sarasota County Advisory Council vacancies: 1 resident of Northport to serve on the Bicycle Pedestrian Trail Advisory Committee, 1 resident of Northport to serve on the Citizens Oversight Committee for School Facility Planning, 1 resident of Northport to serve on the Parks Advisory and Recreation Council. If anyone would like more information, please see the city clerk's office. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. On to the consent agenda. City Manager, have any items been pulled from the consent agenda for discussion?
No, Madam Mayor.
Then I am requesting a motion.
I'll make a motion. I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor made by Commissioner Stokes to approve the items in the consent agenda, seconded by Vice Mayor White. Anything to that? Let's vote, please. Well, it's been a little slow. Oh, we have 0 to 0. Do we want to try this again? Okay, let's go back and vote one more time.
Oops,
Whoops.
they got me.
Will not work.
It's not working. While they're figuring it out, Commissioner McDowell? Yes.
Well, there it is,
There we go.
coming up slowly.
Are we set? Are we comfortable that this is an accurate count? Okay, that motion passes 5 to 0. Moving on to presentations. City Manager, this is your item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Today we have a presentation by the Department of Public Works as an overview and annual update for the operation of our Public Works Department. Our Public Works Director, Mr. Chuck Speak, is on his way down to provide the presentation.
Good morning, Commission.
Good morning.
Having a hard time finding it on here, so I'm going to plug in the backup.
Always good to have a plan B.
Blame it on the time change.
Right.
Wonderful. You can get it down the bottom too. Bottom right. Ooh. There you go.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Commission. Chuck Speak, Public Works Director. This is our department presentation. Public Works mission statement is to efficiently maintain the public infrastructure and provide services to ensure the safety, health, and well-being of our customers. The customers of Public Works are both internal and external. We serve the residents as well as the staff. So there are 6 divisions that drive the Department of Public Works. We have our administration division, our engineering division, our facilities maintenance division, our fleet management division, the road and drainage district, and the solid waste district. So our administration division is headed up by Garrett Woods. He's our business manager. Some of the accomplishments for this past year for the administration division, they handle customer service and all of our business. They handled over 46,000 customer phone calls in 2022. The average time for each customer in the queue is just over 2 minutes. They issued 1,494 solid waste bulk bills. This division also handles our hiring and recruitment. So they completed 188 requisitions for hiring. And they also handle our GIS and our work order management. So they update our Lucity system, they develop all of the maps that we need in Public Works, and they also track all of our data in the GIS system. Our engineering division, which is headed up by the city engineer, Mr. Danny Quick. That division handles our SDR reviews. They dedicate approximately 1,150 hours annually reviewing the plans. They handle design review and construction of stormwater conveyance systems, which are our water control structures. They also assist us with any engineering requirements when we're rehabilitating or replacing pipes throughout the city. They manage the infrastructure. They had 8,741 customer interactions, including inspections and permits, processed since October 1st, 2022. They also work with various departments for traffic flow improvement projects and connectivity. So this department heads up our mobility, connectivity, planning, and implementation. Our facilities maintenance division is headed up by Kim Humphreys. She's the facilities manager. They handled over 3,900 work orders last year. The staff support that they provide also includes our signature events, decorations in City Hall and the greens, and assisting departments as needed. Some of the storm response completed or that falls under facilities maintenance, they completed damage assessments for all city facilities. They coordinated emergency repairs. They managed projects in various stages of completion. And they also develop and implement replacement and use policies. We have 21 active new construction and emergency repair projects that are handled in that division. We have 2 project managers that work within facilities maintenance division. The fleet management division, which is headed up by Ken Rapoon, the fleet manager. Last year, they administered over 600,000 gallons of fuel. They maintain over 800 vehicles and equipment and pieces of equipment, and completed over 7,300 jobs in fiscal year 22. That's their percentage of preventative maintenance jobs completed in a timely fashion is 96% currently. Some of the other things they handle, of course, they recommend, procure, and deliver contracted services. They administer the fuel system for the city and track that. They develop and implement replacement and use policies, and they handle all of the purchase of the vehicles citywide. The Road and Drainage District, which is headed up by Frances Nunez Lugo. She's the Road and Drainage Manager. Just some of the numbers to see the scope of what this division handles. They have over 1,600 miles of swales to maintain. Just over 4,500 road pipes within the city to maintain, 132 miles of retention ditches, just under 80 miles of waterways, including the creek. They have 64 water control structures to maintain, 823 miles of roadway, 161 miles of sidewalk, 19 pedestrian and bikeway bridges, 22 traffic signals, 1,397 street lights, 35 school zone flashing lights, and 11 RRFBs, which are the rapid flashing beacons. So some of the goals and accomplishments. Our goal is to effectively manage the stormwater drainage system to ensure adequate local drainage. So last year we rehabilitated 13,740 linear feet of swales. and 5,225 feet of retention ditches and canals. Another goal is to maintain the roadway system. So we've placed 8 tons of asphalt within that, and that's just the asphalt used for pothole repair. Another goal is to maintain the rights of ways on arterial roads, and that included last year 512 acres of drainage and right-of-way mowing. So as part of the storm response, of course, road and drainage and public works as a whole has a big part to play in storm response. So we reconstructed Price Boulevard, 4 places, Hillsborough in 1 and Chancellor in 1, to open those roads back up for traffic. We addressed more than 7,000 signs, traffic signals, and streetlight issues. We are planting trees to help our community recover. We also manage the water control structures and post-storm repair and hardening of waterway infrastructure. Some of our CIP projects are the road rehabilitation project, the drainage system improvement project, and the citywide tree planting project. And our solid waste division, Frank Lamas, a solid waste manager. Last year, they handled 38,775 work requests. They added 1,310 new homes. So 1,310 new customers added to solid waste last year. They delivered 17,162 totes, and they had the addition of 42 new commercial accounts in fiscal year 22. So last year, there were 30,656 tons of residential garbage collected, 12,051 tons of commercial garbage collected, and 10,608 tons of residential recycling collected. Another part of solid waste during a storm response, Mr. Frank Lama, he handles our debris management operations. So he is the one that is in direct contact with our contractor. As part of that, we collected over 2.1 million cubic yards of vegetation and 230,000 cubic yards of construction and demolition debris. They also removed 397 uprooted stumps. Just so everyone understands, all of that material has now left the city. Our operation in that sense is complete as far as debris removal. Some of the CIP projects in solid waste include the solid waste rate study, the solid waste transfer station, and the scheduled replacement of equipment. Going forward, some of our priorities and key projects, of course, price widening. We're very excited to have funding for that and finally get this off the ground. This is a huge project, and we're really looking forward to breaking ground on this project. Mobility and connectivity plan. As we continue to work for the mobility fees and implementing those fees, understand that Mr. Danny Quick, the city engineer, is working with his team already identifying some of these mobility and connectivity opportunities that we have that we can get in place even prior to the mobility fees being implemented. The road and drainage fee methodology implementation, the solid waste rate study and transfer station. That transfer station, another one we're very excited about, to have your support for that. Adding those types of numbers to our customer base and the residential side annually, we're going to have to do something, and that transfer station is going to help us greatly. Water control structure and stormwater conveyance system hardening, the Myakkahatchee Creek restoration project, the reevaluation of the city's emergency debris management plan, and the citywide building life cycle condition assessment. And we want to say thank you for your support from Public Works.
Thank you for that, Mr. Speaks. I'm opening up the floor to commissioner questions. Vice Mayor White, you're on.
I don't have a question. Did you want to do questions first?
I'd like to if there are a few.
Okay.
Thanks. Commissioner McDowell.
Great presentation. Thank you. So I understand that Public Works is responsible for fixing the streetlights, school zones, and crosswalk beacons. I understand we just came through a hurricane that affected 80% of the state, large cities, small cities, everything in between. And I know that there was a huge back order on parts and availability. Do you have a better ETA that you might be able to share with the residents on getting the school zones and those crossing walk beacons repaired?
Yes, ma'am. So we started receiving the parts about a week and a half ago. So those are already starting to go up. So you'll see those school zones probably within the next 2 weeks or so. We should have the school zones that were still inoperable, should be operable.
Excellent. And the crosswalk beacons, are they the same kind of parts or are they different?
They are, the crosswalk beacons should be included in that.
Okay, because
If they're the rapid flashing beacon, then there may be a different timeline. And I don't know I don't think we received any of those yet. So if it's the rapid, our RFBs may take a little longer.
All right. You mentioned a Myakkahatchee Creek restoration project.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me a little bit about that project?
That's a project to remove the debris that's in the creek. We've performed this once before. There was some questions from the commission at that time. We went through, we did a CRAS study, which is a cultural resources assessment survey, the entire creek from Price all the way up to the city limit, 50 feet of the banks, including the creek. And there was nothing of, I don't want to say value. There was nothing to preclude us from doing a project in there to clear the creek and the debris. So as part of that, we are looking into making an access pathway to get our equipment in. We can't put equipment in the creek. We have to work from the banks and start clearing some of those. So you'll see some things coming before commission as we develop that plan more.
So is there a timeline to start doing that?
No, there's right now we're working on the design of the pathway. The consultant's working on that for us. And that will be designed to make sure that dependent upon what's there, which side of the creek we work from, to keep us away from any wetlands or any environmentally sensitive areas. And then once we have that, then it'll come back before, but it's going to be some time before it comes in.
I admit I was afraid that's exactly what you were going to tell me this project was. So basically, we're going to be we're going in one spot and then creating like a road, not a road, but a path along the creek for the equipment. So we'll have like a maintenance path,
Correct.
and you're going to clear everything along that maintenance path?
There's already a path there for the most of it. There was a four-wheeler path before we went in the last time. I think if this storm has taught us nothing else, and the gains that we made in the capacity of the system the last time by doing the clearing before commission decided that they didn't want us in there, I think it's something that we really need to do. There's no reason to not clear that creek. The creek is the main outflow through the city. So when you have log jams within that creek, it increases the amount of flooding that we get north of that. So we've proven it. We had pushback because of some claims of archaeological issues. We've now disputed those claims. We've had professionals go in and tell us there's nothing there of interest. So we're ready to get back in there and do our job.
I hope you'll do it with a scalpel instead of the way it was done the last time. But the debris in the right-of-way. I understand the debris has all been, it's done for FEMA. But there's a lot of debris still sitting in the right-of-ways. It's dead. It's not anything new. They missed the deadline. I understand that they are responsible for picking it up. My biggest concern is that it's going to start flowing and blocking our drainage system, which is going to create really big problems. Has there been any consideration to possibly just go in and pick up? I don't know how many there are. It's more far and wide than every property to go in and just get those picked up before rainy season.
We don't have intent. If they don't have bulk pickups available, and we offer bulk pickups for every resident. They can use those bulk pickups. That'll get those 10 yards of debris picked up. Uh, We allotted 103 days for people to get their materials out. So I don't think that at this point we're going to subsidize any free pickups. They can call us and we'll give them a quote, or they can call a contractor outside of this, outside of the city to get them a quote. But it's not fair to the other ratepayers that put their material out on time to support this.
I understand. I'm asking these questions for public consumption.
Sure.
So if they are not picked up prior to rainy season, what is the next plan? I mean, how are we going to enforce getting it picked up? Because this is going to be a problem for our drainage system.
Yeah, and then they'll be turned over to code enforcement. So solid waste knows where these piles are. They're out there every day.
All right.
So we have a pretty good list of where those are. When we don't hear from them, and typically we'll contact the resident when we see the pile to tell them they need to call and either set up a bulk pickup or get a quote. If they refuse to do either one of those, then we'll turn it over to code enforcement.
Okay. And Mayor, that's all the questions I have. Thank you for answering them for the citizens' benefit. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Commissioner. I don't see anyone else, so I'll go. Thank you for providing the numbers. I think it's always good for us to be reminded, we throw around 104 square miles. It's good to drill down a little bit and be reminded of just how big a job it is. I have a question. I could have several questions about some of the numbers, but under customer service and business administration, the number that particularly stuck with me were the number of phone calls received in 2022. Do you have any sense of what the year-over-year growth has been in that number?
I don't. I mean, I could pull those numbers. If my business manager was here, he could pull those. He tracks those numbers every day. He's a numbers guy.
I'm just curious, maybe if you could send
I
us
can
an
follow that
email
up.
or something, that
Yes,
would
ma'am.
be really, really helpful. I have comments, so I'll wait. So I don't think there are any more questions. Do my fellow commissioners have any comments before we close this topic? Vice Mayor?
Yes, thank you. Great presentation by the numbers is what it really should be called. And I'm even thinking it would be great to have like a wall-to-floor number line or something out there when people walk in to see what is involved, especially when we're talking about how many miles of swales, 1,600 plus miles of swales, because that is a common phone call that I get about the swale and not being cleared, and to realize the scope of what you have to do and what we have to do. And the road signs too, people are still complaining they don't have road signs. Over 7,000 road signs. It's just amazing what all Public Works encompasses. I don't even know if all of our residents understand how much, like, decorations. I don't want to sound like that's trivial, but, even decorations you have to do. Solid waste, that's just amazing. Over 1,300 new homes. It's more than 3 a day coming online there. And, you're providing that service and doing a great job. I did have a question when you said the staff development review, that was over 1,100 hours. Is that review of construction plans you're talking about?
Yes, that's all
Right.
of the commercial construction or any construction plans that come within that go through the SDR review. They come through our office,
Right.
of course, as well.
Okay, so along with taking care of all of this, you have to take care, of course, of all the new things coming online as well. I appreciate you talking about the creek restoration. I know that's, and the fact that it's going to come back before us. However, I've realized long ago that the creek, unfortunately, was designed to be the outflow for the water that comes through here. And that is what it is. And unless we're going to create, and I've said this before, like a Los Angeles River, they built that huge concrete culvert that goes through the city. That is what we need to do. But as echoing off of what Commissioner McDowell said, it needs to be done refinedly and with respect to the environment. So I'm I'm glad that that's going to come back. And also the bulk waste. I was curious about that as well because I see piles in my neighborhood. So you're saying that when solid waste comes through on our day, they make a note of that somebody still has a big pile of brush laying out in their front of their house, and they do report that.
Yes, ma'am. They report that back
Internally.
to the office, and then
Okay.
typically we will, the office staff will try to make contact, or one of the supervisors will go out and look at the pile, and then we'll make contact to see. Some people put it out not realizing that they have to call in a bulk. They assume that it's just going to disappear.
Right.
So we try to educate them a little bit, and that gives us time to look to see if they have any free pickups left, and we can communicate that information to
Okay.
them.
All right. And that's it. Thank you.
You are welcome. One more comment from me, and again, I'm looking at the customer service numbers. I could put a spotlight on so many numbers in this report, but it's so fresh in my mind. Average time a customer call is in the queue, just slightly over 2 minutes. I spent 18 minutes in the queue yesterday with one of my insurance companies. So I just throw that out there so people can compare and contrast what the city's level of service is. Commissioner McDowell, you have a comment?
Yeah, my comment is, people don't realize the intensity of Public Works and everything that your department touches. It's so imperative that good customer service is done, and you've proven it with these numbers. I mean, to echo Mayor, 2 minutes, that's remarkable, especially a city that's growing of this size. And I have to tell you, every time I run into staff out and about, they're always kind and cordial and respectful to the citizens. Solid waste, I think, is the ones that they deal with the most and regularly, and they are always willing to help the residents. So kudos to them. The others, not so much interaction, so not to have them fall by the wayside, because that's not it. I just applaud them and you and the rest of the team. So thank you. And thank you for sharing this presentation. I hope that residents will take the time to listen to it and watch it and get a better understanding of the complexity and enormity of your department. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speak.
Thank you. We appreciate your support.
City Clerk, well, welcome to the party. Do we have any online public comment on this topic?
After we're done this topic, if we could go back to the general public comment, I did have one. And I
Okay.
apologize, I didn't change my clock.
Oh. Okay, yes, we can do that. I don't have any in-house, so why don't we go back and revisit general public comment for a moment?
Robin Sam Vincent. I would ask that when the clerk reads my e-comment, that it is read slowly so the commission can fully understand my concerns as a citizen of Northport. At the recent workshop on March 6,
Your
2020.
audio, ma'am?
It's on.
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Robin Sam Vincent. I would ask that when the city clerk reads my e-comment, that it is read slowly so the commission can fully understand my concerns as a citizen of Northport. At the recent workshop on March 6, 2023, the topic of public comments was discussed. After listening to some of the comments made by a couple of commissioners, I was shocked and disheartened to hear that our comments are considered to be grandstanding at times. Additionally, it appears that maybe controls should be placed on our comments. As citizens of the city, we have every right to express our concerns, no matter what they are, to this commission, and we expect that they will be given the respect they deserve and taken into consideration. When speaking on issues that are extremely sensitive, our voices may become very passionate, as they should be in order to be properly expressed. We, the citizens of the city, are asked by the commission for our input, and we are the people who show up to give it. We are representative of this city. We do not expect to hear comments like these ever. Thank you.
Thank you, City Clerk. On to public hearings, PLF-22-231. This is a quasi judicial hearing, so City Clerk, would you read the petition by title and swear in those wishing to provide testimony?
Petition number PLF 22-231, Davis Wellham Park 2 multifamily final plat. Can everyone wishing to provide testimony please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to provide is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge, so help you God? Thank you.
Thank you. Ex parte, Commissioner Emmerich, do you have any ex parte communications on this item?
No, ma'am.
Vice Mayor?
No, not on this one.
No for me. Commissioner Stokes?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner McDowell?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Presentations, 20 minutes each. I see the applicant is up and ready.
I'm up and ready, and I will be faster than 20 minutes. John Lazinski, Senior Vice President, Welland Park, and I have been sworn. This parcel is as you can see on the fourth page of staff report, just shy of 30 acres. It goes from the downtown all the way to Prado, between the Grand Lake on the south and Sun Glow. This property will have 359 multifamily units, 4-story apartments, and rental townhomes. Again, trying to have density close to downtown and create that body heat. This is just the final plat. The DO has, or is, if not issued, it should be issued shortly. And we anticipate the construction of this project starting probably in the next 60 days.
Thank you, sir. Staff?
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Sherry Willett Grondin, Planning and Zoning Division. I have been sworn. The presentation before you is for the Davis Welland Part 2 multifamily final plat, petition number PLF 22-231. You can see on the left hand of the screen, it's an overview of where the proposed location of the plat is. The applicant is stated for the record is John Luzinski on behalf of Main Street Ranch Lands. The property owner of the subject parcel is Main Street Ranch Lands LLP. The request is the approval of the Davis Welland Park multifamily final plat. The property is located in Village D, west of West Villages Parkway, approximately 900 feet south of US 41 and east of Island Walk Circle. The property size is approximately 29.4789 acres. The overall plat, you can see the location, the overview on the right hand of the screen. It provides a future development tract, wetlands tract 600 and 601, where you can see with the big green lake area, utility drainage, maintenance easements, and sanitary easements. The future development tract will comprise of 359 multifamily apartment units complex with recreational amenities and a pool. The number of proposed dwelling units does fall within the allotted units for Village D. As stated previously, it's located in the mixed use area. And March 2020, staff has approved the infrastructure plan 19-289, a surety bond in the amount of $669,028.51 was received for on-site sanitary sewer and water as part of the major site and development plan, which is currently under review. This is an overall picture of the plat that is in the staff report, just to give you an overview. The final plat was reviewed and approved by the contracted city surveyor in conformance with Florida statutes, chapter 177. The final plat was reviewed for conformance with the approved infrastructure, INF 19-289 plans for the Welland Park, also known as West Villages, Village D. The Planning and Zoning Advisory Board at their regularly scheduled meeting of February 16, 2023 unanimously recommended approval. Staff is asking that the City Commission would approve petition number PLF 22-231, Davis Welland Park 2 multifamily. Thank you.
Thank you. Any rebuttal, applicant?
The only thing I'd like to add is the 2 wetland tracts with the plat will be transferred to the West Villages Improvement District for perpetual ownership and maintenance. Wetlands are not being adversely impacted.
Staff?
Staff has no rebuttal. Thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk, do we have any online public comment on this item? I do not see any in-house, so I'm opening the floor to commissioner questions. I'm not seeing any, so let's move to closing arguments. Staff?
Staff has no closing arguments. Thank you.
Thank you. Applicant?
Applicant has no closing arguments. Thank you.
Then I'm closing this public hearing and requesting a motion.
Make a motion, Mayor.
Go ahead, Commissioner McDowell.
Make a motion to approve petition number PLF 22-231 as presented and find that based on competent substantial evidence, the Davis Welland Park 2 multifamily plat complies with the ULDC and Florida State Statute, Chapter 177.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor to approve petition number PLF 22-231 as presented, made by Commissioner McDowell and seconded by Commissioner Emmerich, and the rest of the motion, and find that based on the competent substantial evidence, the Davis Welland Park 2 multifamily plat complies with the Unified Land Development Code and the Florida State Statutes, Chapter 177. Anything to that? Then let's vote. And that motion passes unanimously 5-0. Thank you. Moving on, DMA-22-215. This item is quasi-judicial. City Clerk, read by title, please, and swear in those wishing to provide testimony.
Consideration of development petition DMA 22-215 Northport Gateway Development Master Plan Amendment. Can everyone wishing to provide testimony please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to provide is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge, so help you God? Thank you.
Thank you, City Clerk. It is time for ex parte communications. Do you have any, Commissioner McDowell?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Commissioner Stokes?
No, I do not.
There is none for me. Vice Mayor?
Yes, I just had some questions with staff as this relates to the ULDC.
Thank you. Commissioner Emmerich?
No, ma'am.
City Clerk, are there any aggrieved parties for this matter? Then let's move on to presentations. Applicant?
Good morning. For the record, Ria Lopez with RVI Planning and Landscape Architecture. I'm just opening up my presentation. I have been sworn, and it's a pleasure to be back here making a presentation to the Commission. So the project we have before you today is an amendment to the Northport Gateway Development Master Plan. Here with me today, we have a representative from the property owners, that is Generational Growth Properties, LLC, as well as our project engineer, Mr. Jason White with Exceptional Engineering. The Northport Gateway Development Master Plan is located south of US Highway 41. On the map before you, you see that it is just west of Southwood Boulevard. This project was originally approved in 2005. In fact, it was a development concept plan, as DMPs were called at that time. The project is entirely located within Activity Center 1, and it is zoned as planned community development. Several parcels within the project have been since developed, and today the project is close to build out with only 3 vacant lots remaining. Lot 10E, which is the larger lot that you see on the screen before you, is the subject of our current amendment. And Lot 11E and 12E, which is the smaller parcel, is basically under staff review to be developed for a medical and office building. Coming to Lot 10E, Lot 10E is accessed from Aiden Lane to the north. It is roughly 2.5 acres in size. It is surrounded by right-of-ways and commercial uses on 3 sides. To the west, you see there's the shopping center, which contains a number of restaurants as well as a few commercial establishments. To the north, there is the ABC Wine and Spirits store, Perkins Restaurant, and further to the east, there's the Aldi grocery store. To the south of the property, across from Chancellor Boulevard, there is single-family residential development that is in Charlotte County. However, there is some separation between this property and those residential developments, not only because of Chancellor Boulevard, but also a sliver of a stormwater parcel that provides that additional separation. As currently approved, the DMP was very prescriptive in terms of uses. And so this parcel was restricted to development of a 36,000 square foot bank, retail, or office building. The maximum height was also capped at 45 feet or 3 stories. The request we have before you today is to remove some of these restrictions that were put on the parcel through the prior DMP and instead make it consistent with what the ULDC would permit for this property. We are requesting to allow development of a 61,000 square foot hotel, which will be developed as a Holiday Inn Express, and to allow for a maximum height of 70 feet or 4 stories. Hotel is a permitted use not only in Activity Center 1, but also it was permitted by right in this DMP. The proposed square footage is within the FAR limitations for Activity Center 1, and the maximum height that is being requested is also permitted by right per the ULDC for Activity Center 1. Here are the proposed building elevations, as well as a sample Holiday Inn Express that is built in Ruskin. As you can see, there is special attention paid to the facade design and a variety of building materials used in the facade development as well. The request is consistent with the City of Northport's comprehensive plan. It supports the goals of bolstering economic development in the city, as well as diversifying its tax base. Besides that, the hotel will provide a commercial amenity to not only residents living in this area, but also people traversing across US 41, which is a high traffic corridor. So in conclusion, this project would boost the economic development in the city. It would be compatible with surrounding land uses, which is predominantly commercial in nature. It is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the City of Northport's comprehensive plan. And all our request is consistent with what the ULDC currently allows for this property. Staff, as well as the Planning and Zoning Advisory Board, have recommended approval of this project, and that is the request we have before you today as well. My team and I are here to answer any questions. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. Staff, you're up.
Good afternoon, Carl Benj, AICP, Planning and Zoning Division. I have been sworn. Okay, today we're here to talk about DMA 22-215. This development master plan amendment is requesting an amendment to the Northport Gateway Development Master Plan to allow for the development of a four-story, 61,000 square foot hotel on Lot 10E. The project is located at the corner of Aiden Lane and South Salford Boulevard on a parcel of approximately 2.52 acres. The future land use is Activity Center, and the site is located within Activity Center 1. On October 26, 2022, at 5 p.m. on Zoom, the applicant held a neighborhood meeting, and the meeting documents are available as Exhibit E in the staff report. The applicant is not requesting a waiver from a ULDC regulation, but an amendment from a previously adopted DMP 05106, which reduced the permissible size to less than the ULDC allows. The previously approved DMP has a maximum height of 40 feet, which is 30 feet less than the 70 feet PCD zoning allows. Again, the applicant is not asking for more than the ULDC permits. Staff has reviewed the DMP application for consistency with the city's comprehensive plan and the Unified Land Development Code. The full analysis can be found in the staff report from pages 4 to 8. Staff finds that the proposed DMP does meet the intent of the comprehensive plan future land use, element goal 1 and 2, the policies 2.1, 3.3, 9.4, and 9.27, in sections 53102, 53103, and 53112 of the ULDC. On February 16, 2023, the PZAB voted unanimously to recommend approval for DMA 2025. And in conclusion, staff recommends that the City Commission approve DMA 22-215.
Thank you, sir. Any rebuttal, applicant?
The applicant has no rebuttal. Thank you.
You're welcome. Staff?
We have no rebuttal. Thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk, do we have any online public comment for this item? I don't see any in-house, so I'm opening up the floor to commission questions. Commissioner McDowell.
Thank you, Mayor. So this DMA that you're requesting, is it only for this parcel? Or is it applied to the entire DMP that was approved in 2005 that is for 15 acres total?
This amendment only goes for this parcel.
Only this parcel? Thank you. All right. Because I am not familiar with the old DMP process, and this is a huge hotel, 61,000 square feet, how does that equate to rooms? Approximately how many rooms would that be?
I believe we would have about 100 rooms.
100 rooms, thank you. Seems a lot larger, 61,000 square feet. Has a traffic impact study been done? And I don't know if it might have been done prior to this DMA. Maybe it was done at the DMP stage in 2005. When will a traffic impact be done?
Once they submit for their MAS, it would be required during that process. So it would be after this, actually. It'd be the next application.
All right. So if it calls for widening of Southford from south of 41 to Chancellor, or maybe
So-
traffic configurations, that'll be required?
Any effects that it has on traffic will show up in the study, and the contractor will be responsible for making those improvements.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm going out on a limb with this next question. Because it's directly affected by the property. That property currently has huge amounts of storm debris from Hurricane Ian, not just on that 2.5 acres, but on the entire 15 acres of that general area at Perkins and all of the other. And I don't know if this is possible, so I'm going to just throw it out there. Can we make this DMA contingent upon all of that storm debris being removed within 30 or 40 days?
I don't believe that we can, because I don't believe the developer has any relation to the surrounding properties. But that's something that I could definitely look into for you to see what options are available.
Well, if we approve it, there goes our leverage.
I don't think we can necessarily tie those two things together. But I could definitely have a conversation after this, and I could touch base with you for future reference.
Okay, so again, I'm looking at leverage, and I'm looking at getting that cleaned up in a timely manner. And I understand it's private property, but they're here for an ask. And
So I think it would require the property owners of the parcels that you're specifically talking about. And I know they're the applicant, but I don't know if they're the owner.
well, they're representing the owner.
I can definitely have that conversation and follow up. I don't have an answer for that now. I apologize.
Okay, but I'm going back to my statement. We approve this today, our leverage is gone until they start development.
Well, we do have the MAS that comes through. I mean, I know it doesn't come before you guys. That's the best I can.
I see somebody else.
Hi. Yes, I've been sworn. I'm Jason White. I'm the civil engineer for the project. The client is willing on his property to clean it up. I just don't know, I mean, if they bring, I don't know for approval purposes, if they were to bring equipment onto the property to do that before permits are issued. I don't know how the city looks at that.
We would have to have a different conversation.
But as long as the city's okay with them bringing equipment onto their property that they own, because they don't have control of the other property. But on this property, they are willing to, as long as the city would be okay with them bringing equipment to disturb the ground and clean all that.
I don't think the city would mind if you're picking up only landscape debris.
We have a little huddle going on for those who are listening in.
So, again, Carl Ben for the record. Unfortunately, this DMP cannot be conditioned on things that are off of this property. We can't do it.
Okay, so the DMA, though, is conditioned for just this parcel, because that was my first question.
Yes, it is just.
So we can condition just this parcel to ensure that they go in and clean it up within 30 days.
That could be something that you guys can.
Thank you very
No
much. I
problem.
yield, Mayor.
I'm not seeing any other questions, so let's move on to closing arguments, staff.
My only concern I was discussing was just making sure that we are legally allowed to bring, the equipment in to clean our property up. And it doesn't become a code enforcement issue. That was just my discussion. Because we don't have permits on the site. I just didn't want to.
But you, if I may,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
but as the property owner, it's your property and that debris is sitting on your property, so you are within your rights to remove that, just like any other property owner that has it sitting in the right of way.
Like I said, as long as we're not breaking any rules, I have talked to the property owner's representative too, and we are willing to do that as long as we don't violate any rules.
Thank you.
Okay,
We were at closing arguments.
closing arguments, so staff, do you have any closing arguments?
We have nothing. Thank you.
Applicant, any closing arguments?
The applicant has no further closing arguments. Just one thing to add in regards to this condition, and I know it's a unique situation because of the recent hurricane, but just because it is being added to a development master plan as a condition, I know the applicant's willing to do it, but we just want to make sure that that is appropriate for a development master plan condition as well. Just because it's development related versus a situational debris related thing. So just the wording of that, making it clear the intent and so on. And as the project engineer stated, we fully intend to go ahead and clean up that debris. It's just, connecting it to this development master plan is a little unique. So we just want to make sure that's kind of vetted before it's put on our project.
City Attorney, do you have any comments on that?
I'd have to hear the motion, Mayor.
Okay, then let's move on to motion. I'm closing this public hearing and requesting a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion.
Go ahead,
And
Commissioner.
I will have a amendment to my own motion. I make a motion to approve the petition for DMA 22-215 as it is presented, including the conditions outlined in the staff report numbers 1 through 17. Oh, I'm sorry. And find that based on the competent substantial evidence, the DMP amendment complies with the ULDC code and Florida state statutes.
Thank you for that. Do I hear a second?
Yes, I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor made by Commissioner McDowell and seconded by Vice Mayor White to approve petition number DMA-22-215 with all 17 conditions identified in the staff report, and find that based on the competent substantial evidence, the Development Master Plan amendment complies with Unified Land Development Code and state statutes. Anything to that?
I do want to speak to the motion, Mayor, because I do want to make an amendment.
Okay, go ahead.
And the purpose I wanted to make a separate amendment is to specifically address the condition I was speaking about, to have the property removed of all landscape debris from Hurricane Ian. I wanted to keep it a separate motion so we don't kill the main purpose of you being here. Yes, it is very unique. And that's why I will make an amendment to the motion to add condition 18, that the property owner of this parcel remove all landscape debris as a result of Hurricane Ian, and any other debris on the property within 30 days working with the city.
City Attorney?
So generally speaking, Mayor, we can require the applicant to comply with our codes. I don't know if this landscape debris is within or outside, the scope of our current codes. However, if the applicant agrees to the condition on the record, then we don't have an issue. So I would say, perhaps first we may want to find out if the applicant agrees with the condition. And if they do not, then you should also allow the staff to address that.
Okay, applicant, I think you had expressed agreement, but let's hear it again for the record.
For the record, it's Jason White with Exceptional Engineering. The applicant does, if we could maybe extend the time frame, just 30 to maybe like 60 days or something like that.
About 45.
As long, or be able to work with it, obviously. But yes, we will clean our property up.
Great,
Can
thank
we
you.
get clarity about that time frame
Like I
and the
said-
applicant's agreement to the time frame?
So you agree to a 45-day
Yes, we do.
timeframe?
Like I said, the only clarification, as long as we're not violating a code enforcement issue.
Working with the city was part of the motion,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
City staff, do you have anything to add?
No, we have nothing else to add.
Great. Commissioner McDowell, do you want to restate
I
your
will restate the
amendment?
motion, amendment, I apologize, to add a condition number 18, that the applicant property owner remove all Hurricane Ian landscape debris and all other debris on their property, and that it be completed within 45 days and working with staff to reach that conclusion.
Great. We have an amendment on the floor to add a condition 18, that the applicant will clear the property within 45 days of all storm debris resulting from Hurricane Ian and all other debris, working in cooperation with city staff. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Stokes. Anything to that? Vice Mayor?
I just had a question, for myself, so I understand. This debris is on the parcel that you're going to be developing a hotel, correct? It's the same piece of property? Yes. Right? I just want to make sure I was understanding that. All right.
Okay, good. I don't see anything else, so let's vote on that amendment. And that motion passes 4-1 with Commissioner Emmerich dissenting. Do you want to speak to that, Commissioner?
Yeah, I didn't think putting a time limit on this to clean up the property when it would be cleaned up eventually. I just didn't see the need on that.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you to the applicant for being so agreeable.
Motion?
Oh, thank you so much. So now to the main motion. Does anyone need to have me repeat that, or City Clerk, do you want to repeat it?
To approve petition number DMA 22-215 as presented with conditions 1 through 17 in the staff report, and condition 18, that the property owner of this parcel remove all landscape debris from Hurricane Ian and all other debris on their property within 45 days, working with city staff. And find that based on competent substantial evidence, the Development Master Plan Amendment complies with the Unified Land Development Code.
Thank you for that, City Clerk. If there's nothing else, let's vote. And that motion passes 5-0. Thank you to you both.
Great seeing you, Ms. Rhea. Welcome back to City Hall.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to ordinances. A first reading for ordinance number 2023-04. This is a quasi judicial hearing. And I'll need a motion to direct City Clerk to read this item by title only.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor to have city clerk read this item by title only. The motion maker is Vice Mayor White, seconded by Commissioner Stokes. If there's nothing to that, let's vote. And that motion passes 5-0. City clerk.
Ordinance number 2023-04, an ordinance of the City of Northport, Florida, amending the Unified Land Development Code, Section 53-214, Village D, District Pattern Plan, West Villages, to reference Welland Park, amending Section 3.13.9, minimum parking standards to provide for an administrative adjustment to the parking requirements, amending Section 3.13.9B to provide for parking standards not otherwise specified, providing for findings, providing for adoption, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, City Clerk. It is time for ex parte.
I got to
Commission.
swear in.
Oh, I am so sorry. Go ahead.
And everyone wishing to provide testimony, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to provide is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge, to help you God? Thank you.
Thank you, City Clerk. Ex parte, Commissioner Emmerich.
I have.
Vice Mayor?
Nothing.
None for me. Commissioner Stokes?
I have nothing.
Commissioner McDowell?
Nothing, ma'am.
Do we have any aggrieved parties for this item, City Clerk? Then let's move on to presentations. Applicant, you are first up.
Good morning, everyone. For the record, my name is Monet Moore. I'm with Kimley Horn and Associates here on behalf of the agent Kelly Klepper, and I will be presenting in regards to Village D, an amendment to the Village District Pattern Plan. First and foremost, thank you all for having me this morning. So a little bit about the project background. We are referencing Village D, which is approximately 620 acres just south of Tamiami Trail, and it's bound by West Villages. And so you see an excerpt from the Village D pattern plan here displayed on the screen with the map here. It was originally approved in 2017, and it has been amended since in 2021. Those regulations at the time were amended to allow for mobile food dispensing trucks or vehicles, and then also for commercial floating docks. In addition, there was a modification to the landscape buffer widths provided with specific landscaping standards are met. Today, we are here to propose a text amendment to the existing Village D within Section 3.13.9 to include a provision to modify the parking standards through an administrative adjustment on a case-by-case basis, and Section 3.13.9B to provide for parking standards not otherwise specified. So this will only be impacting Village D, but it would allow for some flexibility within the parking regulations that are currently within the Village D Villain District Pattern Plan. So here you see the exact language that we're proposing in a legislative format. So this text amendment would just allow additional flexibility, would allow for staff to make an administrative adjustment to modify parking regulations or the amount of parking that is required per their review, and then also by review of the West Villages Review Committee. It would also require that if applicants are proposing anything different within this Village D pattern plan, that they propose or provide some sort of study to staff showing that it is supported by the Institute of Traffic Engineers, the Urban Land Institute, or some sort of historic study that shows that the parking will still be adequate for the site and what the proposed use is. In addition, you see the figure to the right, and again, we've added other uses not specified within these regulations, and then the parking requirement would be determined by general rules or findings within that particular case. So some of the benefits to this amendment that we're proposing, again, it would allow for flexibility and also still regulate parking standards within Village D. It will allow us to prevent the need for an amendment like we're going through this process now, anytime a new use is proposed or a different use is proposed. And then it would also create a similar standard to what is already existing in the Unified Land Development Code. So within the Unified Land Development Code in section 25-12, there is language that allows for staff to be able to provide a parking standard if a use is not listed. And so we would like to be consistent with the existing standards for the entire city. Some additional revisions that we made while we were taking a look at this was just some more kind of a cleanup. We added to the cover page West Villages, also known as Welland Park, just to be consistent with that rebranding of West Villages to what is now known as Welland Park. And then additionally, we added to the cover page the history of approval. So there is a track record on that document that shows those previous amendments that we've made or that has been made to this village plan. So we previously presented this to the Planning and Zoning Advisory Board last month on the 16th, and luckily we have their recommendation for approval, and we just kindly ask the same thing of you all. So thank you for your time, and I'll take any questions you may have.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Staff?
Thank you, Commissioners. Good morning again. Sherry Willett-Grondin, Planning and Zoning Division. I have been sworn. The item presented before you is the Village D, Village District Pattern Plan Amendment by petition number VPA 22-180 and the accompanying ordinance 2023-04. As an overview, the applicant is B. Kelly Klepper, AICP. The owner is the Main Street Ranchlands LLP. The request is to amend the Village D VDPP, and the location is south of Tamiami Trail, US 41, and north of Playmore Road. As you can see on the right hand of the screen, where we have the Village D area outlined. The property was annexed in approximately 2002. The original VDPP was adopted September 26, 2017, and it was adopted as part of the the original VDPP. It was amended again in 2021 through ordinance number 2021-18 and included the provisions for mobile food dispensing vehicles, commercial docks, and the reduction of landscape buffers, provided that certain criteria are met. The proposed amendments, as you can see on the right-hand side, is to revise those parking standards in section 3.13.9 to include a provision to modify those parking standards through an administrative adjustment on a case-by-case basis. In addition, section 3.13.9B is to provide those parking standards not otherwise specified. As part of the amendments to this is to include the history of the amendments on the front cover page and to include the reference to Welland Park. The proposed language that you see is very consistent with Chapter 25 of the Unified Land Development Code for parking. What we had found with this, the parking regulations, is restrictive. It did not allow the flexibility if there was other types of uses that are not expressly identified within the parking regulations, especially when parking demands a lower standard for senior housing, perhaps some of the retirement communities. An example that we had used in the past is when we had the Braves Stadium, and we were able to utilize Chapter 25 for the parking regulations for that flexibility, because not only did you have the stadium, you had other uses that just did not fit. So this would allow also the administrative decisions to be made. The applicant, as stated in the proposed language, would need to make application. There would have to be supporting documents with the Institute of Traffic Engineers, etc. The appropriate departments have reviewed this petition, There have been no issues raised or no concerns. The city attorney has approved the accompanying ordinance 2023-04 as to form and correctness. This is consistent with the comprehensive plan, future land use element goal 5, policy 13.1, to promote smarter development and adhering to village principles. The proposed amendment allows for those minor adjustments using industry and comparable standards. So they are measurable standards. It provides for administrative adjustments where uses are not specifically called out. Again, it provides that flexibility. These proposed amendments do not deviate from the village principles. Evaluating with Chapter 53, the zoning regulations, the changes in the proposed amendment are minor. They comply with the requirements of this section, and it's consistent with the West Village's pattern book. The ordinance 2023-04 was advertised in a newspaper general circulation January 31st, 2023, according to the provisions of the city charter and the Unified Land Development Code. This item was presented before the Planning and Zoning Advisory Board on February 16th. The board voted unanimously to approve this amendment to the Village D VDPP, and Planning and Zoning staff is respectfully asking approval for these amendments. We are here to answer any questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, staff. Any rebuttal by the applicant?
No, I do not have a rebuttal at this time.
Thank you, staff.
Staff has no rebuttal. Thank you.
You are welcome. I'm opening, City Clerk, is there any online public comment for this item? And I don't see any in the room, so I'll open up the floor to commission questions. Commissioner Stokes.
I'm not sure what this is really, what flexibility we're asking for here. Is this to be able to add more parking spots? Is it to give the flexibility to build a parking structure? I mean, it's just so nebulous to me. I have no idea what this ask is.
You could or I could, either one of us.
Thank you for your question, Commissioner Stokes. So the proposed language isn't necessarily to add more parking requirements. It just allows for a different method to where if there is not a use specified within that language, then staff can then, based upon evidence presented by the applicant, can create or assign a parking standard, saying whether that be 2 spaces per unit or whatever that may look like for the use being proposed. So it prevents the burden of whenever there is a new use proposed or a different use proposed, that staff would have to make an amendment or an applicant would have to make an amendment to the Village D pattern plan.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner McDowell?
Yes, I noticed that the VPA 22180 is not mentioned in the ordinance itself, not in the title or anything. But, so I don't know if we need to make sure that that is included so there's a connection to how this came about. Yes, I see it on the cover page of the actual VDPP, it's mentioned, but it's not spelled out in the ordinance that I can find.
So Commissioner McDowell, on page 2 of the ordinance, if we look down to adoption section 2.01, where they have the language that's being added.
Yeah, that's C.
Yes.
Okay, I see it there. That's the stuff that's being added, but you're asking us to approve this amendment, but this VPA is not mentioned in the title block. And my question is probably more for city attorney. Should it be included in the title block because the legislative text shows it in the title block?
Ma'am.
No?
No,
Okay.
the title block is sufficient to provide public notice and provide a summary of what's within the ordinance.
All right. So then moving on to the request of added language in the VDPP, it says here, and forgive me because I am not familiar with West Villages Improvement District, makeup of their staff, or the WVRC. But it says an administrative adjustment requires approval by WVRC and the director responsible for land development services or designee. Is that the city's director? Does West Villages Improvement District have a director of land development? Do we need to clarify and specifically denote that it is city staff, if that's who it is?
So it would be two approvals. It would be one by the West Villages Review Committee. So they would kind of be giving their blessing in that regard. And then the second approval that would come directly from staff, and that would be your staff from the city of Northport. And if the director chose to say designate someone on that planning team or their planning team or a planner to approve it, they could approve it on behalf of the director for the city of Northport.
Okay, so should we include the director or something saying the City of Northport Director of Land Development?
To make it clear,
Yeah.
Commissioner, yes, we can add that. The intent was the director of the city of Northport responsible for land development services.
It's just not clear because I don't know if WVID has a Director of Land Development Services.
Or
I don't know.
designate. So we can add that into the final document prior to second reading.
Excellent. The other question I have is, if you look at the table where you have other uses not specified in these regulations, no problem with that. But you go to the next part of that table, it says to be determined by general rule or by findings in a particular case. Wow, is that vague? How do you determine, or who determines the general rule or the findings? How does that come about?
So either one of us can answer. Go ahead.
So that would be very similar to the text that's added under the minimum parking standards. What this would allow is just how we've stated out that an applicant could propose an application that includes studies from like the Urban Land Institute or Institute of Traffic Engineers that would be presented to staff, and that would provide evidence in regards to creating a general rule or those findings.
Would they have to go through the same administrative adjustment?
Yes, this would allow for an administrative adjustment, and then that use that's being proposed would be assigned a parking standard by staff or a designee or of the department head.
So would it, and I'm just throwing it out there because I'm not seeing how this is determined what to be acceptable. Should it be to be determined by administrative adjustment? Because then it brings you back to what that is.
The process would be the same either way. So we could refer back to that minimum parking standards language that states that it will require an administrative adjustment. However, the decision would still be reviewed by the West Villages Review Committee and then also still be reviewed and approved by the director and their designee.
I'll yield for a minute. Okay, Vice Mayor White.
Yes, I had a question about, currently it's 2 spaces per unit. Is that what it is?
For single use, however, the parking standards will vary by the use that's specified within this table.
All right, so what you're asking for is for you to have that flexibility to increase or decrease those parking spaces?
No, ma'am. What we're asking for is that if a use is not specified within this table, staff will then have the authority to assign a use based upon evidence that's presented to them.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it would not change the parking standards that were already within the pattern plan.
Right.
It would only allow for a parking standard to be assigned to a new or different use.
Because that hasn't been identified. Is
Yes,
that
that's
what-
correct.
Right, okay. All right, thank you. I'm good.
Okay, so just to be clear, any modification requires a review and approval of Northport City staff. Do I understand that correctly?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, that satisfies me. Commissioner McDowell.
Yeah, just a follow-up. when I'm going back to reading the beginning, it says, if proposed parking is less than the minimum required or more than the maximum allowed, the applicant may submit for an administrative adjustment. That I'm reading is separate from the table. The table is not bringing it back to this administrative adjustment.
Okay, so if you don't mind, when we make the edits in regards to that language, just clarifying who the appropriate body of authority would be for that administrative adjustment, would you like us to clean up and provide clarifying language within that table?
I would, but I'd like to kind of know what that might look like, or is that something we wait for second reading for that clarity? It's just very, very vague. It's not, it doesn't look like it's subject to anybody's review except general rule, which doesn't really say anything.
Staff, do you have a suggestion on that?
We could look at that. So the intent is, it does mirror what we have currently in the Unified Land Development Code for parking, for those uses that are not specified in the regulations. So the same is going to apply. However, it has to be reviewed administratively. They have the list of table of their specific uses and the number of parking spaces. But if it doesn't meet that, then they have to come before city staff or the director of Neighborhood Development Service and also the West Villages Review Committee prior to that. And they have to provide that supporting documentation before we can consider it. And it's not giving them carte blanche over any development. It is on a case-by-case basis. So overall, they would have to follow these regulations. But if there's an example, say there's a senior housing, and it does show that it's a single residential use, that perhaps the parking requirements are not required at 2 spaces per unit. It gives that flexibility.
Okay, thank you. Does that help, Commissioner McDowell?
It does, but I have a follow-up kind of comment question. So I understand the intent that you want it to go back to the administrative review, but it's not stating that specific part. And I'm wondering if maybe that's the language that it would be subject to administrative review.
And this would have to probably be reviewed by the city attorney as they've seen this prior to us bringing it to your board. But for that table in regards to the language you're referring to, so it currently reads to be determined by general rule or by findings in the particular case, or to be and to be authorized by an administrative adjustment allowed by, and then we state the same staff that we have listed, the director of the planning department, and then or a designee.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. You've been very understanding and good to work with. Okay, do we have any closing arguments? Staff, you're up first.
Staff has no closing arguments. Thank you, Commission.
Okay, an applicant?
I have no closing arguments at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm hereby closing this public hearing and requesting a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a couple motions if that's okay.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'll start with the changes and then we'll go on to the continuance if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to have staff prior to second reading change the language identifying who the director responsible for land development services or their designee is.
Are you done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Anything to that? We have a motion on the floor to add language to the document identifying who the director, specifically who the director and their designee is. That motion was made by Commissioner McDowell, seconded by Vice Mayor White. Anything to that? Then let's vote. And that motion passes 5-0. You're on a roll, Commissioner. Keep going.
I'll make a motion to have staff work with the city attorney to clean up the language in the table relating to the general rule and, I'm sorry, by general rule or by findings in a particular case.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor made by Commissioner McDowell to direct staff to work with city attorney to clarify the language in the table referring to general rule. And what was the second?
General rule or by findings in the particular case.
Or findings in the particular case. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
That motion was seconded by Vice Mayor White. Anything to that?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's vote. That motion passes 5-0.
I'll make a motion, Mayor, the last one for this item.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to have this ordinance continued let me start over, to continue ordinance number 2023-04 to second reading on March 30th with the previous two motions captured.
I have a motion on the floor to continue ordinance number 2023-04 to second reading on March 30th with the previous two motions incorporated. That motion was made by Commissioner McDowell. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
That motion was seconded by Vice Mayor White. Anything to that?
Can you hang on one second? I think there's a question about the date.
The due date for it, in order to meet that date, is today.
Correct.
Right.
Oh,
So we would have to push out the second reading a little
So-
bit to get the appropriate changes and.
hold on one second. Let me pull up my calendar then. Hang on. That would be April 20-something. I'm looking for my calendar. Sorry.
I think our first meeting is April 14th, is it
Got to be a
not?
night meeting because we're hearing during the day.
During the day.
If I could get a friendly amendment to my motion to have it be April 25th. If I could get,
Does anyone want to make an amendment?
Yeah, I'll do that.
no, I
Right.
was making a friendly amendment to my motion if it's okay with the secondary.
Oh, you want to do that? Yes. Right? For the date.
I'll make,
Restate your motion, Commissioner, with the modification. I don't think Vice Mayor has any objection.
okay, I'll make a motion to continue ordinance number 2023-04 to second reading on April 25th, capturing the two previous motions for second reading.
We still have you as the seconder,
Yes.
Vice Mayor?
Mhm.
Okay, if there's nothing more to that, let's vote. And that motion passes 5-0. Let's keep pushing on to ordinance number 2023-08.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I need a motion to direct city clerk to read this item by title only.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion on the floor to direct city clerk to read this ordinance by title only. The motion maker is Commissioner McDowell, seconded by Commissioner Stokes. Let's vote. And that motion passes 5-0. Take it away, city clerk.
Ordinance number 2023-08, an ordinance of the city of Northport, Florida, annexing approximately 1.1782 acres of real property located in the unincorporated area of Sarasota County, Florida, and contiguous to the existing city limits of the city of Northport, Florida, redefining the boundary lines of the city of Northport to include this property, providing for findings, providing for annexation, amending the official zoning map, providing for assessment and taxation, providing for filing of documents, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, city clerk. City manager, this is your item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We do have a presentation from our Planning Department staff member, Ms. Sherry Willett Grondin, as we talk about this voluntary de-annexation.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Sherry Willett Grondin, Planning and Zoning Division. This is the Myakka Crossings River Road US 41 voluntary annexation, petition number ANX-22-179, with the accompanying ordinance 2023-08. The applicant for this particular parcel that is highlighted in purple on the right-hand side is Bristol Edward Rudolph Revocable Trust.
Can you pull it up?
Bradford, excuse me?
Can you bring the
Oh, I'm
presentation
so
up?
sorry, City Clerk. Could you show this on the screen, please?
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. I'm sorry. And as stated, the property owner is Bradford Baker, also known as Bradford Dennis Baker, as the trustee of the Bristol Edward Rudolph Revocable Trust, dated May 14th, 1986, as restated May 11th, 2001. The request that you see is a little over an acre of land. The location is approximately 600 feet north of Tamiami Trail and west of North River Road. The property is located within the city's future annexation area, meaning it has been designated to be considered for annexation. The land comprising the Paradise Ventures development was annexed to the city in 2003. So the land that is just south of this parcel is part of the Paradise Ventures. There is currently a development master plan that has been approved. So with the addition of this parcel being annexed into the city, this will become part of that development. Any petition to any additional applications that are required to change the future land use of the property. First, we annex it into our city boundaries. The next step, because of the Sarasota County Charter and that we don't have an active joint planning agreement, they would have to go through the county to get a future land use designation that is similar to ours. And those provisions are in the Sarasota County Charter, Section 3.3, which addresses lands lying outside the Sarasota service boundary area. Per the county charter, their county board of commissioners must approve all changes to the future land use designation of all lands lying outside the service boundary area, regardless of whether some or all the lands are located in a municipality. They'll have to follow the county process to establish a county future land use designation that would be similar to the land use designation that the city will apply to this property. An additional, there will be a future, if it goes through the county, a comprehensive plan amendment, which would be small scale, to apply the city's future land use designation of Activity Center. So this property would actually become part of Activity Center 1, and a zoning designation of Planned Community Development, PCD. This petition has been reviewed by city staff, including the management team and all applicable departments, and they have reviewed and provided the comments. And staff would like to note that the comments that are applicable here is really based on when it comes to the stage of site development, which will be future applications and petitions. The city attorney has reviewed the ordinance 2023-08 as to form and correctness. The annexation is following the Florida Statutes, Chapter 171. The ordinance was advertised according to the statutes on January 31st, 2023, February 7th, 2023. In addition, a copy of the notice was sent to the Sarasota County Board of Commissioners via certified mail on January 20th, 2023. There was, per our code, to evaluate against the comprehensive plan. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, as part of the comp plan in the Chapter 2, Policy 2.1.7, it encourages the voluntary annexation in Sarasota County between the War Mineral Springs and the eastern boundary of the West Villages in order to expand the city's tax base and, of course, Activity Center 1. This property is located in the voluntary annexation area, and the property will be rezoned in the future to planned community development, or PCD. Also, future land use policy 2.1.13 identifies those, that might be a duplicate. Upon annexation, the city shall recommend a future land use designation of Activity Center 1, which is applied through the Comprehensive Plan Amendment. At the time the Comprehensive Plan Amendment is submitted by the owner, it will be required to be consistent with this policy. This is a larger map showing the potential annexation areas, and you can see that they are identified with the circle. This is located in Area 1B. Future Land Use Policy 6.6.2 upon annexation of contiguous lands along US 41, as shown in Map 1 of the Future Land Use Policy 2.1.13. The properties identified as future annexation area, future urban service area boundary will be eligible for urban services allowed by that. This property is located in the city's urban service boundary area. Utilities has provided a willingness to serve letter. There is utilities available. The fire and police substation is within 2.5 miles away to serve this property. In addition to the ULDC Chapter 53 for the zoning regulations, the zoning map will be changed once the ordinance is approved and adopted to include this section as no zoning designation. So we do have to change our zoning map to include this area within our boundary. However, we cannot put a zoning designation on it. So it goes through the appropriate process of the Comprehensive Plan Amendment and a rezone, which in the future would come forth. So a fiscal impact analysis was done in accordance with our Unified Land Development Code. And it's just based on over 5 years that a net benefit would be $504,351. And this is the assumption it would be done at the highest intensity that is allowed under the permitted uses in the PCD zoning district. Notice to property owners per ULDC section 53-22 were mailed to all property owners within 1,320 feet of the subject property on January 30th, 2023. Staff is here to answer any questions that the commissioners might have. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm opening up the floor to commissioner questions, and Commissioner McDowell has been on that list for quite a while. Go ahead, Commissioner.
I just have one very easy question, and it's just to clarify Exhibit F. In the notice to property owners, it had an outline of the property. And I was like, what is going on with this property line? It doesn't go all the way to the road, but all of the backup materials show the property line going to River Road. And I'm wondering, are we including the drainage easement? Because that's what looks like is missing on Exhibit F, is the drainage easement. Is the drainage easement part of this annexation?
Let's see here. I'm pulling up the survey.
Because I cannot read that survey.
Okay, I have to blow it up, but it is including a portion
No,
of
I
it. I
mean
could
the
blow
survey words, because sometimes maps and survey words
Yes.
don't match.
Let's see. So if we look at the legal description to Exhibit B, which we included, that was the verbiage that is on the survey. I know it's hard to read when it's converted. It tells you where the location is, where it begins and ends. And the survey map does show, let's see if I can find the boundary. Actually, you know what? I'm going to try to blow it up here on the screen. Bear with me, please. I'm trying to pull up the exhibit here.
The exhibit that shows the easement.
The whole easement, yes.
Is Exhibit F that shows the easement missing, but the Exhibit B is the one that has the picture of
Yeah, let me
the
see.
map, but I can't read legal description either.
Yeah, and I'm trying to pull it up, yeah. It's the road right away. Let's see here. You could, I'm just trying to pull it up. I have a lot of exhibits here, so I do apologize for the delay. Here we go. This bigger. So it does include a portion of that road right away here. Pulling up the boundary. So in the map, that it's just an overview within the notification, but within our documentation, as you can see within the survey, it shows where the boundaries are and where this ends. So there's this portion of the right of way. Does that answer your question?
Okay, and it's very hard to determine if the main property line is going to River Road or is it going to the easement? There's so many lines here, it's hard to differentiate which is going to which.
So it goes to the road right of way here. And if there's easements, I'd have to look and see. Where they are, but this is where it is, and there's the present right-of-way line into the road. There's a bank as well. Let's see if it has up at the top. Okay, and it's found in the westerly right-of-way line of the West River Road. And then it has its surveyor language on how long that it expands. So that's included. And any easements here, I can't see right here. I'd have to probably pull it even more to see what easements are there, but.
And I am, now that it's blown up a little bit and I am able to differentiate using this and the property appraisers, there is the sidewalk. If you can move your cursor a little bit to your right. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, now stop. Now follow that angle up. That looks like where the sidewalk is on the property appraiser's website.
Okay.
And then from that sidewalk to the bolded property line, that bolded line, is that the property line? So it is not including the easement.
So the property line is here where the little pins are. So then there's a portion of that. Okay.
My bigger question is, I want to make sure we're going to have access to this property that's getting access, annexed.
Okay, so this previous right-of-way line is now county right-of-way, and then where you see the bolded line, if you could see the little hand, this is the present right-of-way, part of the property boundary.
Thank you. Will the property have access if it's in the city limits, but the county's right away?
So that will be further, so they'll have to connect. So one of the conditions when we go to the site development, there will have to be access from this property down below to where that other development is. So you have two means of ingress and egress. we'll have to look and see as we go further into development, if there's going to be an entrance there, and there will have to be coordination with the county as well as FDOT because of the county road. So that will be in the future. And they will have to amend the development master plan as well, and that will come before commission as well, as long with the rezone and the comprehensive plan. So we have a long road to go. This is the first step.
All right. Commissioner, I'm going to hold you there and go to Vice Mayor White, and do you need me to come back to you?
Nope, they answered my question. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. Vice Mayor White.
We got there.
Yeah, I just had a question about when you showed the picture of the future annexation page on there with the orange, just for future reference, because I know this most likely will come back with those other properties.
This one here. Yes.
The property that is just south of this one, it's not included. Is that correct?
So the green circle is the property that we have. Then we have the area just down below. That is, yeah, the gray area is already in the city.
Oh, it is? That little section?
Right now,
Okay.
yes, it's abutting. I know it's a little tricky
Okay.
because this is like the last little piece.
Oh, okay. But is all that orange in the city now? Is that what this? No, I thought this was future.
No.
That's
So
what I thought.
if you're looking across the
Because it says
road to the
potential,
eastern
yeah.
part, it's potential.
Right. But you're saying that gray area is already in?
That's part of the, yes, so if you
Oh,
see the gray area, it's that development that already has
Oh,
the
okay.
development master plan.
Okay. All right. I'll just have to add a little color box on my,
yes,
my code there. Okay, that's great. And that's it. Just, this was acquired in 1987, so things have certainly changed in that area since then. So, yeah, that's it for me, Mayor.
Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions. So City Clerk, do we have any online public comment for this item? I don't see any in-house, so I'm closing this public hearing and requesting a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, Commissioner
I will
McDowell.
make a motion to, hang on, got to get where I'm at. Make a motion to continue ordinance number 2023-08 to second reading on March 30th.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor made by Commissioner McDowell and seconded by Vice Mayor White to continue ordinance number 2023-R-08 to second reading on March 30th, 2023. Anything to that? And let's vote. And that motion passes 5-0. Thank you, staff, for that. It is almost lunchtime. I was hoping perhaps we could. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. I was hoping we could push through to 1 o'clock and finish up, but I don't think that's in the cards today. So let's take a lunch break and come back at 12:30. Does that work for you, Commissioner Emmerich? Okay, terrific. I'm pausing this meeting for lunch. We'll be back at 12:30.
The app has helped correct more than 12,000 issues across the city. No matter the method you choose, the city is here for you. And together, we will build a stronger community. Have you heard of the North Report app? North Report is a tool used to report non-emergency issues to City Hall. The app is built to be easy for anyone to use on the go. When you see an issue, it takes less than a minute to report the issue on the app. First, pull up the app and click Report Issue. Then, click Camera and take a picture of the issue or get the image from your photo gallery. After that, the app uses geolocation to pinpoint your exact location. Then, you choose the type of issue from the list provided. You'll finish up by including a brief description of the issue, such as where it is, what it looks like, and any other important information that will help city staff correct the issue. Then when you're done, you hit Submit, and you're ready to go. It is that simple. North Report, a simple and valuable way for you to build a stronger community.
Let's kick it. Alright, stop, collaborate and listen. Parks is back with an old invention. Whenever your pet goes number 2, it's your job to scoop the poo. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't think so. Poop shouldn't be left to decompose. To the extreme, bag it up like a champ. Throw it away, use your part, get amped. Damn, rush your baggie to the trash. Keep the water clean, do your part in a flash. Deadly, one bacteria goes steadily. Anything less than scooping is a felony. Love it or leave it, you better gang way. You better hit the bullseye, the dogs don't play. This can be a problem, but yo, we'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it. Don't forget to scoop. Don't forget to scoop. Yo man, let's get out of here. Word to your pupper. Don't forget to scoop. Don't forget to scoop. Don't forget to scoop.
Why do we flood? During significant rain events, Northport nearly always floods in certain areas of the city. This is thanks to the locally named Myakkahatchee Creek, also known as the Big Slough Watershed. The 195 square mile drainage area flows through DeSoto, Manatee, and Sarasota counties, then through our city to exit at Charlotte Harbor. As the city of Northport is located at the low end of the Big Slough watershed drainage system, the city's current flooding and water quality conditions are attributed not only to the city's growth, but also to upstream runoff in the DeSoto, Manatee, and Sarasota County portions of the Big Slough. During significant rain events, ponding can also occur. Ponding occurs in low-lying areas that are characterized by poorly drained or supersaturated soils. With back-to-back rainfall events, the ground is totally saturated, which increases the runoff during a storm. The city works hard to maintain its stormwater conveyance system, which is comprised of roadside swales draining into 79 miles of named waterways and 132 miles of retention ditches that interconnect with each other and with the Myakkahatchee Creek. There are 64 water control structures, of which 23 are gated water control structures, 5 are gated drop structures, 28 are fixed weir structures, and 8 are drop structures. The control elevations of these structures are designed so that water is retained in the waterways in a step-down elevation system configuration. This means the water levels in the waterway segments between structures progressively decrease in elevation from north to south and from east to west. This system configuration allows both retention of stormwater runoff for water quality treatment and storage for potable water use. In preparation for a storm, the gates are opened as needed to convey floodwaters. The city has an ongoing program to inspect and replace old corroded structures. Since 2006, 13 of the high-priority structures have been replaced or rehabilitated. The city also has a program to clear the ditches of sediment deposits that have accumulated over time and clear fallen trees and debris in the Myakkahatchee Creek. This also helps restore the flow capacity of the waterways. Long story short, Northport is prone to flooding, but the city works hard to maintain conveyance channels, water control structures, and procedures put in place to lessen the impact. When there is a hurricane or significant rain event, the city gets into response and recovery mode quickly after. Please stay safe out there.
Oh, you're swimming in the pool?
This is George, your city arborist for the city of Northport. Today, we're going to discuss the tree permit. I get a lot of calls about the tree permit. A lot of people are confused on how to fill it out. So I'm just going to do a quick overview of the tree permit. People ask me, why do we need a tree permit? We are 21 years in a row tree city. We try to maintain our tree canopy. We have a 35% canopy requirement that is in the ULDC code. Tree permit is $18.75. If you're caught cutting down a tree and do not obtain a permit, you will be fined $250. The tree permit is good for a year. At the top left-hand corner of the permit, it says inspections. There's a phone number. Please call that number. It's an automated system that will set up a final inspection for the inspector to come out and close out the permit. Please have the permit posted somewhere when the tree work is being done and at the final inspection. If the paperwork is not where the inspector can find it, they will fail the inspection. You can drop off your permit at City Hall. Well, it must be dropped off. You cannot email it in. There's a drop box for small permits or the drive-through window. This has been another video of Ask the Arborist. If you have any questions, please visit the city website at cityofnorthport.com.
If you're happy and you know it, flap your wings. If you're happy and you know it, flap your wings. If you're happy and you know it, you really ought to show it. If you're happy and you know it, flap your wings.
When you're following behind large trucks, you want to make sure that you're following at a safe distance. And if you don't know that safe distance, just remember, if you can't see their mirrors, they can't see you.
We stop at about 1,000 houses a day. In order for us to complete that, and be safe, we try not to rush in between the houses. It takes us a little time. We're not trying to slow you down. We're just trying to get things up in an orderly fashion. How our trucks work, we have two different types of trucks that pick up residential garbage and recycle. We have one that's a side loader, and we have one that's a front loader. When that bucket comes out of the top of the truck and is positioned to pick up cans up front, you have probably 8-9 feet in front of you that the people behind you passing may not know about.
On a large truck, construction vehicles, etc., there's a lot of flashing lights. So just make sure their brake lights, you're paying attention to their brake lights and their blinkers so you know what they're intending to do. So you want to make sure that you're not on a double yellow line or a curve and you have good visibility for oncoming traffic so you can pass safely.
If you're too close and you go to pass, you never know what's around the corner.
When coming up to an intersection behind a large vehicle, realize that you can't pass within 100 foot of an intersection. Go through that intersection safely, following at a safe distance, and then once your lines allow you to pass, do so safely when there's not oncoming traffic.
Safety first. Don't risk your life to get somewhere sooner. All right? You're going to hurt yourself or somebody else. Let's just keep it safe.
Hello, I'm David, and today we're doing another episode of Ask the Arborist. We've had a lot of questions come in about gopher tortoises in the city of Northport. We certainly have a lot of them, and today we're going to answer some of those questions that have been coming in. The first one is, what happens when there's a gopher tortoise on a vacant lot and a builder puts in a land clearing permit and wants to build or develop that lot? Well, when they submit a land clearing permit, myself or George Murphy, the other arborist, we go out to the land and we walk the lot for gopher tortoise burrows. This is what they look like. The gopher tortoise is a keystone species, and up to 350 different animals depend on this burrow. So the state, or the Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, has protected the animal and its burrows. So we do our very best to make sure that these do not get disturbed. By doing so, we walk vacant lots when land clear permits get issued to ensure that there are not any burrows. If there are burrows or gopher tortoises on that lot, we do not issue a land clear permit. What we do instead is contact the builder and let them know that they have to hire an authorized gopher tortoise agent who is certified through the Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission to relocate the tortoise that may or may not be inside that burrow. This process is a permitted process through the state or Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, and we won't issue the permit until we've got permission from the state that that burrow has been excavated and that tortoise has been relocated. So another question we had is, where do the tortoises go once they've been relocated? The tortoises go to a permanent conservation land, which is deemed a recipient site for tortoises. It's a very happy place for them to go, and they can live out their days. Tortoises live up to 60 years, so we want to protect them and continue their species on for further generations. Morning, Northport. My name is David Jaro. I'm the city arborist. Today I'm going to show you how to measure a tree's diameter at breast height, or DBH. So you begin by measuring from the ground up at 54 inches, or 4.5 feet. So for me, that's right at my chest plate. So I can usually just walk up to a tree and put it right up. So today I'm using arbor tape. I'll show you two different ways. One with arbor tape that converts circumference to diameter, and then I'll also show you with a regular tape measure. And in this case, this tree is 21 inches diameter. Now the other method of doing this, which is probably more for typical homeowners, is everyone's got a tape measure in their garage. I got 67 inches in circumference. So now we just have to convert that to diameter. To do that, you're going to want to pull out a calculator. Take the circumference and divide by pi, which is 3.14. So I got 67 divided by 3.14. And I got 21 inches.
At the City of Northport, we are here to serve you. And there are many ways to connect with us. You will always find friendly faces when you come to City Hall. When you first walk in, you will see our Customer Care Center. The Care Center helps customers who call into the city to get answers they need in a timely fashion. Our Care Center has helped more than 10,000 customers last month alone. Next to the call center, you will find the self-service kiosk for code enforcement and building divisions. Using the QR code or by visiting our website, you can schedule your appointments with ease. Have you checked out our website? From employment opportunities to building codes, you can find just about anything using the search bar. Finally, you can download the North Report app and submit non-emergency issues to City Hall in less than a minute. The app has helped correct more than 12,000 issues across the city. No matter the method you choose, the city is here for you, and together we will build a stronger community. Have you heard of the North Report app? North Report is a tool used to report non-emergency issues to City Hall. The app is built to be easy for anyone to use on the go. When you see an issue, it takes less than a minute to report the issue on the app. First, pull up the app and click Report Issue. Then, click Camera and take a picture of the issue or get the image from your photo gallery. After that, the app uses geolocation to pinpoint your exact location. Then, you choose the type of issue from the list provided. You'll finish up by including a brief description of the issue, such as where it is, what it looks like, and any other important information that will help city staff correct the issue. Then when you're done, you hit Submit, and you're ready to go. It is that simple. North Report, a simple and valuable way for you to build a stronger community.
Let's kick it. Alright, stop, collaborate and listen. Parks is back with an old invention. Whenever your pet goes number 2, it's your job to scoop the poo. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't think so. Poop shouldn't be left to decompose. To the extreme, bag it up like a champ. Throw it away, use your part, get amped. Dance, rush your baggie to the trash. Keep the water clean, do your part in a flash. Deadly, when bacteria goes steadily. Anything less than scooping is a felony. Love it or leave it, you better gain weight. You better hit the bullseye, the dogs don't play. This can be a problem, but yo, we'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it. Don't forget to scoop. Don't forget to scoop. Yo man, let's get out of here. Word to your pupper. Don't forget to scoop. Don't forget to scoop. Don't forget to scoop. Yo, Northport!
Why do we flood? During significant rain events, Northport nearly always floods in certain areas of the city. This is thanks to the locally named Myakkahatchee Creek, also known as the Big Slough Watershed. The 195 square mile drainage area flows through DeSoto, Manatee, and Sarasota counties, then through our city to exit at Charlotte Harbor. As the city of Northport is located at the low end of the Big Slough Watershed drainage system, the city's current flooding and water quality conditions are attributed not only to the city's growth, but also to upstream runoff in the DeSoto, Manatee, and Sarasota County portions of the Big Slough. During significant rain events, ponding can also occur. Ponding occurs in low-lying areas that are characterized by poorly drained or supersaturated soils. With back-to-back rainfall events, the ground is totally saturated, which increases the runoff during a storm. The city works hard to maintain its stormwater conveyance system, which is comprised of roadside swales draining into 79 miles of named waterways and 132 miles of retention ditches that interconnect with each other and with the Myakkahatchee Creek. There are 64 water control structures, of which 23 are gated water control structures, 5 are gated drop structures, 28 are fixed weir structures, and 8 are drop structures. The control elevations of these structures are designed so that water is retained in the waterways in a step-down elevation system configuration. This means the water levels in the waterway segments between structures progressively decrease in elevation from north to south and from east to west. This system configuration allows both retention of stormwater runoff for water quality treatment and storage for potable water use. In preparation for a storm, the gates are opened as needed to convey floodwaters. The city has an ongoing program to inspect and replace old corroded structures. Since 2006, 13 of the high-priority structures have been replaced or rehabilitated. The city also has a program to clear the ditches of sediment deposits that have accumulated over time and clear fallen trees and debris in the Myakkahatchee Creek. This also helps restore the flow capacity of the waterways. Long story short, Northport is prone to flooding, but the city works hard to maintain conveyance channels, water control structures, and procedures put in place to lessen the impact. When there is a hurricane or significant rain event, the city gets into response and recovery mode quickly after. Please stay safe out there.
Oh, you're swimming in the pool?
This is George, your city arborist for the city of Northport. Today, we're going to discuss the tree permit. I get a lot of calls about the tree permit. A lot of people are confused on how to fill it out. So I'm just going to do a quick overview of the tree permit. People ask me, why do we need a tree permit? We are 21 years in a row tree city. We try to maintain our tree canopy. We have a 35% canopy requirement that is in the ULDC code. Tree permit is $18.75. If you're caught cutting down a tree and do not obtain a permit, you will be fined $250. The tree permit is good for a year. At the top left-hand corner of the permit, it says inspections. There's a phone number. Please call that number. It's an automated system that will set up a final inspection for the inspector to come out and close out the permit. Please have the permit posted.
Afternoon, we are all back from lunch break. It is 12:30, and we are once again back in chambers. It is 12:30, and we are once again back in chambers. And everyone is here, all of the commissioners, our charter officers. We still have our fire and rescue and police representatives. So let's move on to resolutions. Item E, which is resolution number 2023-R-13. City Clerk, can you read this by title only, please?
Resolution number 2023-R-13, a resolution of the City of Northport, Florida, authorizing the City Commission to participate in a joint meeting with the Sarasota County Commission to receive, discuss, and act upon matters of mutual interest, incorporating recitals, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
And City Clerk, this is your item. Would you like to introduce it to us, please?
Yes, the city manager had worked with the Sarasota County Administration, and we have scheduled a joint meeting for May 18th, 2023 at 1 p.m., and we are required to approve this by resolution.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from commissioners? I am not seeing any. City Clerk, do we have any online public comment for this item? I don't see any in-house, so I'm closing this public hearing and requesting a motion.
I will make a motion.
Go ahead, Commissioner Stokes.
I move to adopt resolution number 2023-R-13 as presented.
Do I have a second? Second. We have a motion on the floor made by Commissioner Stokes and seconded by Commissioner Emmerich to adopt resolution number 2023-R-13 as presented. Anything to that, gentlemen? Then let's vote.
You don't count.
And that motion passes 5-0. On to resolution number 2023-R-15. City Clerk, can you read this by title only?
Resolution number 2023-R-15, a resolution of the City of Northport, Florida, amending the City Commission Policy Number 2021-05 related to commission meetings, schedules, notices, and agendas, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. City Clerk, this is your item also.
Yes. During the City Commission meeting on October 11th, Commission provided direction to draft a resolution amending the policy to add language regarding Commission team building retreats and to define the strategic planning as a workshop. Section 3 and Section 4 have been added to both to do so.
Thank you. I am opening the floor up to commission questions. I am not seeing any. City Clerk, do we have any? Oh,
Yeah, Commissioner McDowell.
oh, when I looked, you weren't there. Go ahead, Commissioner.
You must have blinked. I do have a couple of questions. So one of the questions for team building retreats is the timing of posting notice, and it says 24 hours in advance. And it got me to thinking 24 hours is barely enough time for us to realize that we're having a meeting, let alone our citizens. I really think that we need to increase the time to 48 hours, just like we do for regular meetings and workshops. Special meetings in the policy also says 24 hours. The retreats and strategic planning is also 24 hours, and I would like to see if we can increase that to 48. The other thing is, and unfortunately, city attorney is not here, maybe city clerk can answer the question. When you're talking about the team building retreats, it says Florida State Statute Section 286.011. That is regarding meetings and agendas, but public comment falls under Florida Statute 286.014, which is a totally different part of their codes, but it's not captured. So I'm wondering, are we going to be taking public comment at these retreats and strategic planning workshops?
They're being defined as workshops, so they will follow the same rules as our regular workshops. We will have public comment.
Okay, the team building retreats are not defined as workshops.
They're going to be publicly noticed. They're going to be publicly noticed. They're going to be open to the public the same way that the retreats are. They will both be treated just like a workshop.
Okay. I'm not gathering that from the way that it's written. So I just wanted the clarity of it. The other thing I noticed is there's nothing in here about how an emergency meeting is the process for calling an emergency meeting. We have workshops, we have special meetings, we have regular meetings, we have retreats, we have strategic planning, but nothing about
emergency meetings.
emergency.
I believe is still covered in our code. I'll have to double check, but I believe it's still covered in the code.
Because I'll need clarity on that before I can approve this. And we don't get a second reading for this. This is a one and done. The other thing is and that's a public comment policy.
Yes, emergency meetings is covered in the code, is still section 2-24. Emergency meetings, the city manager and any one commissioner may call an emergency meeting.
Okay, so that's a totally separate code.
It's in the city code, yes.
Why do we have it in like 15 million different places? If it's a meeting, shouldn't it be part of this? I'm just throwing it
Could be.
out.
This was only brought back just for the portion that commission gave direction on.
I understand, but I also reviewed it in its entirety, so. All right, I yield the floor, but I am going to be seeing if we can get a consensus to increase the timing that the notices shall be 48 hours across the board.
A couple of follow-along questions. With increasing special meeting notices to 48 hours, does this include the agendas as well, or just a posting that a meeting is happening?
That's how we post the meetings, is providing the agenda.
The agenda, okay. Okay. What are the implications to being able to post a special meeting agenda 48 hours in advance? I know that for our regular meetings, getting the agenda together can be a bit dicey. Are special meetings any dicier, or are they just all sort of in the same bucket?
I would say, Madam Mayor, that it's all in the same bucket, so to speak, and we should be able to handle it.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Vice Mayor, you have a question?
Yes, the 24 hours, even with our 48 hours, is that business days only? Or, I'm sorry, I don't know how that works.
I believe it is business days, but I'm looking at the.
It's
clerk's
not
report.
technically, but we do business days.
Okay.
I do business days.
Right, I
Okay.
would advise that as well.
Okay, and then the workshops and retreats, there's no action taken on those. I just want to clarify that,
No,
right?
there is none. No official action.
We make consensus, or sometimes we don't even make a consensus.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. All right. Because I personally appreciate the flexibility of having special meetings at 24 hours, because we're not taking action. And obviously, if there's something that we should be talking about in preparation for a meeting that's going to be on an agenda and publicly noted for 48 hours, like for our regular meetings are, that to give us that ability to do that and move things along. I do appreciate the fact that we have more workshops now than the city commission has ever had before.
You had said special meeting, just for
Well-
clarity. We do take action at special meetings,
Oh,
not
okay.
workshops.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just really talking about workshops and retreats then, sorry. Yeah, special meetings are still, to me, commission meetings, yes, and that's
just-
fine.
Just to clarify too, this is only not about workshops per se. This is just the strategic planning workshop. This has nothing to do with any of the other commission workshops that we hold each month. This was just to define strategic planning as a workshop and the
Right.
team building to be able to provide that public notice.
Right.
And so that we're going to treat it as a workshop, both of them.
Okay.
So that we know going forward that that's the policy we're going to follow. They'll be publicly noticed, they'll have public comment.
Oh, okay. All right.
Are you all set,
Yes,
Vice
I'm
Mayor?
set, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner McDowell?
Yeah. And, you know, when you look at it, the first bite of the apple tastes a lot different than looking at it a couple of different times. The way that this is done for meeting agendas and stuff, it's outlining it for a regular meeting. Workshops are different. Workshops, we don't take any special action at. We give consensuses. But in the strategic planning workshop, it doesn't even say that, you know, we can give even consensuses. There's no differentiation. To me, a consensus is kind of like official action because you're giving direction to staff to bring something back. It's not the final action, but we are giving some type of direction at some of the workshops, including strategic planning.
So two parts. The top part of this policy is separated from the section 3 and the section 4. So whereas that's breaking down the way a regular meeting agenda is going to look, it's a separate section for the team building retreats and the planning workshops. And it does say that it's not going to take official action because you're right, sometimes you provide direction, but it's not official action. And we are coming back with the policy as well that commission directed to define the consensus at workshops. That's coming back as well. So it's going to be the same thing. You're not going to provide official action. Official action is a vote. You're giving that we're approving this or we're not approving this. The direction that you give at workshops is typically to come back with an item for approval.
But we're doing the same thing with strategic planning, and there's nothing in strategic planning that says no official action or.
So are you recommending, Commissioner, that we add no binding actions are taken at these meetings? Is that sort of what you're
Yeah,
getting at?
we could do
We can
that.
take the part where it says formal action.
And we could
can
add that
down
too, to the rest of the meeting part, that no formal action is taken at workshops. You know, because it's not stated in there. Because workshops and regular meetings are kind of like lumped together in one fell swoop in section 2, which includes special meetings. City clerk is pondering.
Scrolling.
And I know that's a lot to try and capture, so maybe this will have to come back for a final review.
We can put this exact same thing that is under commission team building retreats for C, formal action. The city commission shall not take any official action during a retreat. We can put that exact same comment under
the strategic planning workshops.
Yeah, I think that would make sense. It would be nice to wrap this up today if we can. Does that work for you, Commissioner McDowell? I think that was a yes.
So let's get a consensus. If I can, Mayor, I'd like to get a consensus to increase the timing of notices across the board, regardless if it's a workshop, a regular meeting, special meeting, retreat, or a strategic planning workshop, that they all be at 48 hours notice.
So Commissioner McDowell was a yes, obviously. Commissioner Stokes?
I am an absolute yes.
I'm a yes. Vice Mayor?
Yes.
And Commissioner Emmerich?
Yes.
Okay. You have your direction. Excellent. Good work.
We want to give another consensus to
add
add formal actions in section 3C to section 4, the same wording.
Do you want to repeat what you have on that one, City Clerk?
There was consensus to add the formal action in section 3C into section 4.
I don't remember giving a consensus across all of us for that.
Oh, no, I was just repeating what you
She's
said.
just repeating it back.
I appreciate it. Thank
So-
you.
So
I'm a
are
yes.
you good, Commissioner Stokes?
Yeah, I'm a yes.
I'm a yes. Vice Mayor White?
Yes.
And Commissioner Emmerich?
Yes.
Okay. Those were the two things, correct?
Yes.
Great. Good work, and we got it done.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion, Mayor, to adopt resolution number 2023R-15 as presented.
Before you do that,
Oh, public
hold on
comment.
1 second.
Public
Do we
comment.
have any online public comments, City Clerk? I do not have any in-house, so go ahead, Commissioner.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 2023R-15 as presented, capturing the changes that were given by consensus.
Do I have a second?
Do.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to adopt resolution number 2023-R-15 with the two changes that were approved via consensus. Motion maker is Commissioner McDowell, seconded by Commissioner Stokes. Anything to that? Let's vote. Commissioner McDowell, I don't see you on the board yet.
Time change. I'm
There we
blaming
go.
it on the time change.
Even the computers are struggling. Okay, that motion passes 5-0. Okay, moving on to resolution number 2023-R-24. City Clerk, can you read this by title only, please?
Resolution number 2023-R-24, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Northport, Florida, supporting DeSoto County's denial of mosaic rezoning requests and requests for joinder and reevaluation of mining permit requirements, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing direction to City Clerk, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
City Clerk, you've taken over the agenda. Would you like to introduce this item?
1 second. On February 28th, 2023, the commission directed the city attorney and the city manager to prepare a resolution similar to the adopted resolution by Charlotte County regarding mosaic mining operations in DeSoto County. And this resolution is being brought to commission for adoption per that direction.
Thank you, City Clerk. Commissioner questions, Commissioner McDowell.
Yeah, I first want to say is, wow, that was like 2 weeks ago, and now we've already got a resolution. Good job, everybody. The only thing I would like to add is the city clerk direction under section 3.01. It currently says the city clerk is directed to send an executed copy of this resolution to Peace River Minnesota Regional Water Supply Authority. That is the entity I am hoping that my fellow commissioners would agree it also needs to be sent to all of the Peace River Minnesota Regional Water Supply Authority's members, so they know that we took this official action and they have a copy of it. So I will seek a consensus on that after a discussion, Mayor, and public comment.
Any comments on making that modification? Okay, hit it, Commissioner McDowell.
Mayor, can I get a consensus to include in section 3.01 after Regional Water Authority and all of its members to be included in the direction to the clerk?
Okay, Commissioner Stokes?
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes. Vice Mayor Wyatt? Yes. She's a yes. And Commissioner Emmerich? All righty. Anything else to that? Not seeing anything. City Clerk, do we have any online comment for this item? We do have one in-house. Mr. Tim Ritchie, would you like to come forward, sir? You have 3 minutes.
Well, good morning. Good afternoon, Commissioners, City Attorney, City Manager, and everybody in the chamber. I cannot thank you all enough for having this resolution drawn up. I've said this numerous times. This is one of my quotes. Fresh drinking and bathing water is the most valuable commodity in the world. It's what provides all of us life. It provides our animals life. And it's what sustains the world. I've spent over 5 years. I met Commissioner Debbie McDowell 5 years ago. I was in this chamber one night giving a presentation. And it was right after I had first flown over the Mosaic fertilizer phosphate mining sites. And I was up in a small airplane. And when you're up there for about 4 hours and you're going over 4 and 5 counties, it took me nearly almost half a year to digest what I had photographed, what I had documented. And I had no idea it was just going to be the tip of the iceberg. As you can see, that photo over there, the first one to the left, that is the Mosaic Bartow South Phospho-Gyp stack. It used to discharge every day 2.6 million gallons of blended acidic wastewater into the Peace River and into the North Althea Pond. Now, it is up to 27 million gallons per day. I want you to know that Mosaic has taken all of their waste from Manatee, from Plant City, from Hillsborough, from Mosaic New Wales Mulberry, and they are now sticking it down that gyp stack. That thing's over 700 acres in circumference. The gyp stack alone. The pond on top is over 55 acres. Now the photo in the center is the Peace River, completely snow white, because in 1971, there was a clay settling area up the Peace River, and it burst, just like Piney Point. Now I want you to envision this, because we all saw Piney Point on TV. It was international news. You know the size of that gyp stack at Piney Point? I want to tell you, compared to that gyp stack right there, it's maybe a quarter of the size. Now this here is a document for Mosaic's NPDES permit for the Mosaic Bartow chemical plant.
Sir, you're out of time.
Thank you,
Sorry.
Mama. We'll finish in a bit.
Okay, thank you. All righty. So at this point, I am closing this public hearing and requesting a motion.
Make a motion, Mayor?
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 2023-R-24 as presented, capturing the consensus already approved.
Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Oh. I have a motion on the floor to adopt resolution number 2023-R-24 as presented, capturing the one consensus already mentioned. Motion maker, Commissioner McDowell, seconded by Commissioner Stokes. If there's nothing more to that, then let's vote. And that motion passes 5-0.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
I want to say thank you to each of you, my fellow commissioners, for adopting this resolution. It's imperative that we make it known how important it is to preserve our water. And this is in our water area, the Big Slough. I also want to thank again staff for getting this done so quickly, and hope that anybody else that is watching that is elected officials in their jurisdiction to please adopt something similar to this. We really need to get the word out and give DeSoto County the support they need and they deserve. Thank you.
You are welcome. Moving on to general business, item number 23-0523, City Manager, this is yours.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This item is discussion and possible action regarding revisions to Chapter 4, Boards and Committees, Article 1, Boards Generally of the Code of the City of Northport, Florida. It is being brought to you so that you can consider allowing additional absences for the Planning and Zoning Board due to lack of members and timely fulfill their duties. But I'll also turn it over to the clerk if you want to add anything to that conversation.
City Clerk? Okay, great, thank you. Then I'm opening up the floor to Commissioner questions. Commissioner McDowell.
Yes, Mayor. I want to, I brought this forward as an agenda item because I saw one of the advisory board members in the hallway, and he brought it to my attention that we are handcuffing them because allowing only 3 absences a calendar year, PZAP meets multiple times a month, and only allowing them 3 would create some unintended consequences if they had more than 3 in that 12-month period. So I am hopeful that the board would increase it to 6, possibly 7 or 8, but that'll be the conversation with the board as to how many to allow PZAP, because they meet at least 24 times a year. Twice a month.
Commissioners, what are you thinking on that modification?
I'd agree to 8. That's 1/3.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, that
Vice
sounds like
Mayor?
a good compromise, in that they meet more often. However, it's an important board.
It's a good, important board,
And
yes.
we have to have all that backup material when we're making decisions like we did today. And that I would imagine that people applying to be on that board would understand and know what their responsibility is, that it is really unlike other advisory boards that aren't not what I refer to as regulatory, that it has to go through PZAP land use issues before they come to us. So I would go with 8.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Commissioner Stokes?
You know, I understand the importance of this particular advisory board, but I remember not long ago, we all pushed to shorten or to tighten this to the point where they get 3 absences. And I appreciate the importance of this one, but they're all important in my mind. To jump and say, okay, I guess they meet twice a month?
Yep, usually.
I mean,
Twice as often.
folks who go
as
on
the-
this advisory board should appreciate the gravity and the importance of the board they serve on. And there are other boards that are equally as important. To allow 8 absences or 6 absences, I mean, I just raised the question. I mean, if somebody feels the need to have 6 to 8 absences over the course of a year, should they be on that advisory board? And I appreciate we don't have the participation we need, but is that the reason to loosen the restrictions? Or is it more a message to us that we need to get out there in the community and solicit more support for our city advisory boards? I'm just raising the question because it just seems to run contrary to the perspective we had. I remember it wasn't long ago, we sat here and had this conversation the exact opposite way about all the other advisory boards.
Yeah, in thinking, Commissioner Emmerich, you haven't spoken yet.
I started, but I mean, Commissioner McDowell was up before me, but I'll go real quickly. Yeah, Commissioner Stokes, he brings up a good point, but this is one of our actual working boards that we rely on. And if the board feels that 8's too many, 6 is twice as much as what they have right now. And I just want them to be able to participate, because if that board shuts down, then we don't get recommendations going forward on some, development plans that may be in the future. So, if they meet 24 times a year, that's quite a bit for a board. In unforeseen circumstances, sicknesses, health issues, anything could play a part in it. And I would just like to have the leeway a little bit for, I'd bring it down to 6.
Yeah, I would agree with you. In my head, I was thinking 6. Our other boards meet monthly and we give them 3. This board meets twice a month. In general, I think it makes sense to give them 6 so that
Twice
it's
as
on
much
parity.
as, still a quarter of the
It is,
time.
And I recognize the fact that this is really an essential board. We rely on them for their review and their feedback on quasi-judicial items. And, the folks that get on that board really do need to be dedicated and realize the importance of it.
How many sit on that board?
City clerk?
And they need a quorum of 4?
Things do happen, and, I think absences are just going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I think 6 feels like the right number to me.
I read the backup for the 2 issues that we dealt with today, that their report was included, and there were 6 present and 1 was absent for both of them. But I still would not like to see that held off because of that one person. But I agree with the 6. The math works out. It's 25% for each one then.
City clerk?
There's 7, so they would need 5 for a quorum, but they do have alternates as well, I believe.
Okay.
Not a hill I want to die on. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, Commissioner McDowell.
Yeah, and we cannot lose sight. This is a board that is required by state statute. And there are time constraints that have to be fulfilled for them to be able to meet. And if they are kicked off the board because of excessive absences, then we have to try and find replacements. We may run into unintended consequences of not having enough members on the board. Yes, we have alternates. Yes, we have 7 members. But at the same time, if you lose 2 this month and maybe 1 next month, and we're not able to get members on this board, it's going to shut down the stuff that the planning department and us as commissioners have to fulfill. So I understand that 6 is what I'm hearing my fellow commissioners. I was leaning towards 8, only because to give them a little bit extra leeway. 12 months is a long time. You never know what's going to happen. Maybe we can give them 7, 1 extra, because of the troubles we're having to fill the board to begin with, and being able to keep the members and not having them kicked off the board so quickly.
You trigger a thought, Commissioner McDowell. City Clerk, do you have a sense that we're having the same kind of challenge keeping board members on PZAP that we have with some of the other boards?
No, I do not. Actually, I think all of our boards have been pretty much turning a leaf and going in a better direction lately.
And my gut is still saying 6 seems balanced and fair to me. I think it's something that we can track specifically for this board because it is such an important one. And if there are any unintended consequences and not allowing a little more, we can take another look at it. But it kind of feels right to me for it to be 6.
Convinced me.
Does anyone want to, is there anything else?
Well, let's, if we could, do you want to get a consensus? And then I think we'll have to make another one, and I'm concerned too that if by the time we get this back, I'm sorry, Mayor, I didn't have the floor.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
If we get this back, it's going to take a little while to get this back, and it has to go through 2 readings. I'd also like to see about maybe instructing the city clerk not to track PZAB's absences while this is working through the process, because I'd hate to have a bunch of people get lost while we're changing the code to allow 6 or whatever the number is.
How about we track, but we don't remove anybody?
Yeah, we'll have to get a
I'd hate
consensus.
for somebody to miss 4.
Exactly. Maybe somebody already has 2 and they are going to miss 1 or 2 more while we're going through this process. I'd hate to have them get removed.
We won't.
In the interim.
Well,
So
before we go to a consensus, let me ask, do we have any public comment on this item online? And I don't see any in-house, so are you ready?
Mayor, let's get a consensus to have the city clerk change section, had it written down, section 4.3, sorry. 4.3E2, changing it for PZAB only to 6 absences in a 12-month period.
Are you good with that, City Clerk? Yes. Okay. Commissioner Stokes?
I am a yes.
I'm a yes. Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Commissioner Emmerich?
Yes.
Okay.
Mayor, if we can get another consensus to instruct the city clerk to not remove anybody from PZAB until this matter has been fully resolved.
Do I? Oh, this is, I'm looking for a second. We don't need a second. Let me ask you, Commissioner McDowell, would you be comfortable for the consensus being a little more precise and replacing until this matter is resolved, until this comes back before us for approval?
Yeah, I'd be fine with it. I was trying to come up with the words and that was the only.
Okay, okay. How do you feel about that, Commissioner Stokes?
Yes.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
Vice Mayor White?
Yes.
Commissioner Emmerich? Okay, good.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
for the
welcome.
conversation, and thank you to the PZAB member that brought this to my attention.
Okay, moving on. General business, item 23-0526. City Clerk, this is your item.
Yes, draft minutes were submitted to commissioners for review on February 23rd, and we did receive 2 corrections. One was to annotate the motion was restated, and another one to add and correct, annotating that the city attorney reminded the commission about Commission Policy 2021-04.
Thank you, City Clerk. Any questions? I am not seeing any. City Clerk, do we have any online public comments for this item?
We do not.
I'm not seeing any in-house. Looking for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the February 14th, 2023 Commission regular meeting minutes with the recommended changes outlined.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion on the floor to approve the January 14, 2023 meeting minutes as presented with the recommended changes. The motion maker is Commissioner McDowell, seconded by Commissioner Emmerich. There's nothing to it. Please vote. And that motion passes 5-0. We are on to final public comment. City Clerk, do you have anything online?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Taxpayers in need, please help. During Hurricane Ian, Wade Brennan, Sarasota County Mosquito Control Manager, worked in the Northport High School shelter. After the storm, he witnessed Price Boulevard was so heavily flooded for days, it was nearly impossible to safely navigate without a large vehicle. Chuck Henry, who heads the health department and oversees the mosquito district, was at the Lamarck Special Needs Shelter here when part of the building was ripped open and the evacuees had to navigate heavily flooding to get out. Both men saw the amount of water in Northport but never returned. On November 4 and 7, they contracted with a company and flew 2 air missions with the chemical nailed over Northport due to the number of adult-biting mosquitoes. Air missions are the most toxic form of mosquito control treatment. This district never provided mosquito traps, dunks, or any other larvicide prevention for killing the mosquito eggs the female mosquitoes were laying. Larvicide is the absolute least toxic form of treatment on the environment. It kills mosquito eggs so they can't become adult biters that carry disease. As a result of no larvicide treatments, those mosquito eggs laid in the soil months ago were hatching by the thousands. It also happened 36 weeks after Hurricane Katrina hit Mississippi in 2005. Your residents begged for help months, but no one seems to hear them. There are 40 breeds of mosquitoes in Sarasota County. Some spread West Nile virus and meningitis. For weeks, dozens of service requests from Northport were called into mosquito control with only one spray technician here. He couldn't handle them all. So last week, the district did 2 truck missions. So again, the second most toxic form of treatment was used on our residents. A month ago, you were all asked to write 1 email to the county commission asking to hire more licensed field spray techs and create a real larvicide abatement plan to protect Northport residents and the environment. There's 8 techs countywide, the same number as it was in 2003. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, City Clerk. We also have one in-house, Mr. Ritchie. If you'd like to come back up, you have 3 minutes, sir.
Hello, Commissioners, again. For every 1 ton of synthetic fertilizer Mosaic produces, they produce 5 tons of phosphogypsum. FDEP has told me, don't worry, Tim, it's slightly radioactive. I asked John Coates, you ever ask a woman if she's been slightly pregnant? I want you all to come back to this photograph because this is the Mosaic New Wales plant, this is the Mosaic Green Bay plant, and this is the Mosaic Bartow South Gyp Stack. Look at that area. Now, during Hurricane Ian, I want you to know, all of this land was completely underwater. Now, there's a thing called land, air, and water meetings. We have a thing, saturation. You know, look at the top of that gyp stack. When the winds start kicking up 20, 30, 40 miles per hour, you know what's coming off the top of that gyp stack? Fine radioactive sand dust. That's a fact. As opposed to when the drag lines are out there raping and destroying our beautiful Florida, that sand, that dust is much more coarse. Right now, I have another document here. Mosaic is getting ready to dig up another 627 acres of wetlands at the Mosaic South Fork Mead Mine Eastern Extension. I'm sure the meeting today was opened with prayer by our Heavenly Father. There's no bigger king than our Heavenly Father who created the earth we all enjoy. Mosaic is not God. They put on a very slick presentation. And if you were not up at the Mosaic DeSoto phosphate mining workshops, I want to tell you, you would have gotten a real education on how Mosaic operates. They're the biggest bullies in the world. And frankly, right on this one here where the square is, they want to put a beneficiation plant 15 miles. Now, they discharge into our creeks and our streams. They are using from Tampa Bay to Charlotte Harbor, the Alafaya, the Little Manatee, the Myakka, and Peace River. Again, drinking and bathing water are the most valuable commodity in the world. We cannot afford City of Northport, City of Punta Gorda, Charlotte County, DeSoto. We can't afford to have what they've done up there. We live in the last beautiful area of Florida, and we need to conserve it as much as we possibly can. And I want to thank
You are out of time. I'm sorry.
Thank you. It was really nice to meet you
Very
today.
nice meeting you too.
I will be back, but again, thank you for your support on this matter because the citizens, we really need it, and thank you. God bless every one of you.
You are welcome, sir. Okay, commissioners, it's time for our communications. Vice Mayor, would you like to go first?
Oh, sure. And while Mr. Ritchie's still here, I want to thank him for being so passionate about this issue. As they say, out of sight, out of mind, and it's great that somebody brings that sight forward so people can see the devastation due to phosphate mining in beautiful Florida. Today is March 14th, so today's Pi Day, P-I Day, yes, because it's 3.14. I had to bring that out there. We are go for launch tonight. You know, there was a SpaceX rocket launch, and we actually have a student from Northport High School, Krista Fowler. I'm giving her a shout out. She's a member of a team that came up with an experiment that's going up with that rocket. It's called Team Andromeda, and it's a result of a STEM project that they were involved in. So I think that's really exciting that we have something that's going to be on board that rocket from one of our high school students. Speaking of high school students, I was at the Teen Court Scholarship Dinner, and we had 2 students that received scholarships from Northport High School, and so that was really great to see. There were only 7 students that received scholarships from all of Sarasota County high schools, and we had 2 come from our high school, so I thought that was great. I should also mention that the person given the invocation was Simone Fletcher, our own city manager's daughter, so that was great. Again, to see Northport represented at functions like that, it was really a great thing to be involved with. Embracing our differences, that's coming up. I had gone to that luncheon before, but also that is going to be, do I have the date right? Oh, March 25th at Butler Park. And they put out this great book, we all got a copy of this. But, and just so people understand, there's a text and then there's an illustration, and the two, they weren't designed together. They were thoughts that were put together with artwork separately, but they seem to always go together. That's the whole idea. And again, we do have a student from Northport High School that has a text in there. So I thought that was, oh, actually, I'm sorry, it's the actual painting that was put in there. So we need to look for that, Lily's remembrance. So that, again, exciting things happening in Northport, and that people are knowing that we have these wonderful things going on. Also, Gowns for Girls. I know Commissioner McDowell was there. That was at the Hampton Hotel over the weekend. Stephanie Brown, she's from Valrico, and she's a teacher, yes, and she and her husband have been doing this for a long time. Gowns that are donated, and they're not used. They're not used gowns. They're brand new. They just haven't been sold, and she's been giving them away to girls. And because somebody reached out to them about the situation here with the hurricane, they came down and spent the weekend setting them up. And boy, do they have that down to a science. I mean, I was really impressed because I love when people have a process so they can pack up and go and do this more often. And Valrico, I know that little town that has because it has a train, actually has a train that still runs by there. So I've been to that little town before, but that was an amazing thing. I know we went to the Derby Pack 257 at the Peace Church. I don't think we talked about that since last time. That was the first time I think they had it there, which was great. The Northport Arts Center had their fashion show at Heron Creek. That was a lot of fun. And again, bringing a lot of different people and groups together for a great cause. And it's just a way to hang out. And I have to say that it also gets me out of my comfort zone. I told them I would never have been to a fashion show, let alone, actually, yes, I was in it. But so I had to check that off my list that, okay, I went to a fashion show in my life. So there you go. And part of the Embracing Our Differences, we had readings at schools. I did a reading at Atwater Elementary of a book for a kindergarten class. So that was, I never taught kindergarten, but it was still great to be with those kids and the crisscross applesauce and how great little kids are. They're just wonderful. And I think that is it. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Emmerich.
Yeah, I attended the Pinewood Derby, and I got a message on my phone the other day from the father of the daughter of the car that I had picked. And he was just so elated that it just made his daughter's day. And I said, well, it was well deserved. And it's an awesome day. It's one thing that I enjoy doing out there. And, you know, even if I'm not a commissioner, I'd like to go and just check it out because it is a fun day with those kids. My kids, they participated in them years ago as well. Yeah, we went to Braves game here not too long ago with Economic Development sponsoring us a great day out there. That was awesome. Thank you. I think the Yankees came back and won at the end. I'm not sure. I mean, they were up when I left, but Braves were. Been meeting a little bit with some citizens out there concerning War Mill Springs and trying to get the word out that we're still moving on that and, you know, keeping things in touch, and hopefully it's going to be opening soon. So that's pretty much about it that I've done in the last few weeks. So
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner McDowell.
Yeah, Mayor, I got a couple of things I want to report on, but then I have 2 asks that I'm going to need from my board. First, the Employee Appreciation Luncheon. Human Resources did a phenomenal job, as they do every year. It was, I enjoy that event a lot. And it's morphed since I first came on board to what it is today. Go Yellowstone. It's one of my favorite programs. Gowns for Girls. Yeah, that was an unexpected treat that I participated in. Didn't know I was going to be there. Didn't know I was going to be helping. It just was really fun to see the girls pick out the perfect dress for their dance. It was really, really a good time. Pinewood Derby. Pinewood Derby's faces may change and the cars may change over the years, but that excitement of Pinewood Derby is a forever constant. Just watching them so excited about their car racing and winning, or the agony of defeat. It's all those emotions all rolled into one, and those are never changes. Attended my Leadership Northport class. We had nonprofit day. And I'll tell you, it was really cool to see all the different nonprofits. I am very well aware of all of those nonprofits. I wish we, you know, as a leadership class, that we could help all of them because each one is worthy in their own right. Attended the school reading day. My class was 3rd grade, so we had a lot of kids from across the country and across the globe in that class, learning about where are you really from. So that was a lot of fun. I'm going to get right into my two asks. The first one is because I am the board's representative for the Minnesota League of Cities. It has been, and I think I've talked about it before, or tried to talk about it before, but maybe time prevented it. There are 3 cities, Holmes Beach, Bradenton Beach, and Anna Maria, that back in January, the Manatee delegation wanted to see and conduct a study about combining them or unincorporating their city charters. Cooler heads prevailed, and they have rescinded that request for that study. So the Minnesota League of Cities wants to send a letter to the representatives thanking them for pausing this and recognizing home rule, because it becomes a slippery slope. If the state does it for one, they can do it for all at some point if they choose. And I had to pause before I said, yes, go ahead and send the letter. That was my intent, was to say yes. But as a representative of the board, I didn't know if I had the authority to say yes to send a letter. I have the authority to represent the commission on this board, but I didn't know if I had the authority to say yes, on behalf of the city, send this letter. So I am going to ask permission as opposed to appearing before the Ethics Commission and pleading for forgiveness. So could we please give the authorization to include the city of Northport in this letter to the representatives, thanking them for pausing the idea and for preserving home rule. The whole thing boils down to Manatee County wants to put a parking garage up on one of these barrier islands, creating more of a traffic problem. And that's why they were trying to de-incorporate these cities or combine them. So I am hoping I can get a consensus mayor to authorize sending the letter with Northport's name on it. And after this, I will get with city attorney to ensure that I do not overstep bounds, or if I am within my authority to send that type of letter without commission's approval first.
Before I go to a consensus, city attorney, I recently had this conversation. I can't remember if it was city clerk or city attorney. If a member of the commission sends a letter representing only themselves, that is allowable. Do I understand that? That the quirk comes when an individual commissioner wants to represent the city or the board. Do I have that straight?
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me. That is correct. You all have the right and authority to send letters on your own accord and even endorse candidates or endorse legislation on your own, but you cannot act on behalf of the board without the board's approval, without the board sending you as a liaison in that capacity. So I would always encourage you when you send a letter to clarify that you're sending it on your own, and that way there's no argument to the contrary.
Okay, thank you. And a follow-along question, if a letter is going to represent the board and the city, appropriately that should come from the mayor, or could it come from an individual commissioner?
This is a letter from the Minnesota, my request, if I may, Mayor, clarify.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
This is a letter from the Minnesota League of Cities with the chair's signature on it as a representative for the individual cities, because Minnesota League is a whole bunch of cities. It's not your signature. It is Minnesota League's signature naming us as part of Minnesota League.
Got it. Thank you. That wasn't clear.
I apologize if I didn't make it clear.
Okay, thank you for that. I think we're set on that.
I had a question on that for the city attorney. So she's our representative on that board, for that board. Wouldn't she at that point have the right to go ahead and say yes and allow that board to send the letter?
She probably does, and to her credit, Commissioner McDowell consulted me before bringing this item to the commission at large, And because this letter is a little, it seems like it could be construed as being a little different. It's being sent on behalf of the organization, but then it specifically identifies cities that have endorsed it. I suggested that Commissioner McDowell speak to you all just to take
Fair
away
and
any
caution.
doubt or take away any argument as to whether or not she was authorized.
Right, and that's fine. I'm just saying, you know, if it's including different cities underneath there, but she is there as our representative, she should be able to speak as our representative, so.
That's right, and she has the right to vote as well.
That's the only thing I wanted clarifying on.
You know, whether or not it would be an actual violation would be something that, you know, a commissioner would have to discuss with the Ethics Commission. But, you know, I think out of an abundance of caution, having a quick conversation here today could clear up any concern.
No, thank you.
So I see there's a difference between if this letter were to be written and it would say Commissioner Debbie McDowell, City of Northport, as opposed to City of Northport Commission. That's what you're wanting to
It
clarify.
is just going to say City of Northport.
Right. Okay.
My name's not on it. My commission title is not on it. It's just Minnesota League of Cities. And then it's City of Sarasota, City of Northport, City of Bradenton Breach, City of, and they list all of the entities that make up Minnesota League of Cities.
Okay, that's cool.
And I think as well, but part of the reason I also, Councilor, to bring it before you, I mean, this is, you know, going to be sent to the state to sort of weigh in on legislative action. And that is something you all usually do, you know, as a board. So, you know, if Commissioner McDowell had voted on this and the city's name were placed on it and the other commissioners here on this board were unhappy or dissatisfied about that, I mean, that could cause a concern as well. So this is just, this way, it's clean and there's no confusion or concern.
I'm erring on the side of caution, asking for your consent to include the City of Northport on this letter to Minnesota League of Cities.
And I want to thank you, Commissioner McDowell, for bringing it to us. So you're obviously a yes, Commissioner Stokes?
Yeah, yes.
I'm a yes, Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, my second one is a similar vein, but different. I think we all received the same request from the Boys and Girls Club regarding a letter of support so that they can obtain federal and state appropriations for their rebuilding efforts. I initially thought they were asking us to do this as a commission body, only to find out that they were asking us to do this as individuals. Because of the time constraint, they said to me the deadline was yesterday. I got an email saying, no, there is no deadline. So they are wondering if the commission, the City of Northport Commission, can authorize the mayor to send with her signature on behalf of the City Commission a letter of support for the Boys and Girls Club to possibly receive appropriations from state and federal agencies to rebuild the club. Now, because time is still kind of the essence, I didn't know how you guys wanted to do this. If you would rather, and legally, if we can do it here today, give that consensus, or if you would think it's cleaner for me to create an agenda item for the 30th. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there because that happened late Friday.
Thoughts?
I'm good with it.
Yeah, when I went on my tour, I assumed it was from the whole commission as a whole, and I, you know, assumed that it had been done. So I have no.
I was sort of racking my brain too. I thought we had done something like that, but
But no, I got no issues with that, you know, yeah, to support them and as a body. So if we can clarify that today and get that letter going, I got no issues with that.
I think a consensus is sufficient for this. So let's just get the vote, Commissioner McDowell.
I am, and I would like also to get a copy of any time the mayor signs a document on behalf of the commission. That way then I have it also. And if the mayor needs a copy of the template, I'll be happy to provide that unless you already have it still.
Well, actually, if you could provide it to City Clerk, and then I'll work with Becky to get it turned around as quickly as possible. So Commissioner Stokes?
I'm a yes.
Obviously a yes.
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 Okay, good.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate all of that conversation.
Okay, you're welcome. Thanks for bringing them to us. Commissioner Stokes.
All right, I have a few things, no asks, but I did attend the Cub Scout Pack 257 Pinewood Derby, and I'll echo my fellow commissioners. That was a great event. I really enjoyed myself. The kids were great. I mean, brought me back to when I was their age. So, my car didn't win then, it didn't win this time either. Also attended the Chamber Business and Community Expo this past weekend. Was well attended. That's always a great event. I try to get to those all the time. The Chamber is great, and all those local businesses that support our city need to be recognized. So kudos to them for a nice job. Yesterday, we all attended Toledo Blade Utilities Expansion groundbreaking. That was great. It's exciting that that corridor is starting to explode, so taking the first step. And the only other thing I have is to remind everyone out there, every Friday night up in Welland Park, there are concerts on the green all through the month of March. If anybody hasn't been out there yet, get out there and check it out. It's beautiful looking out over that lake, and the music's not too bad either. And the wine and beer is cheap. Sponsored by the Rotary Club this month.
By whose standards, cheap?
$4 is cheap.
Oh, okay, because the Braves is like $40.
$4, not bad. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Commissioner. I had a few, again, the groundbreaking for water and sewer up to Toledo Blade and 75. Boy, that's been a long time coming, and I am just so happy. I was so happy to throw some dirt around yesterday. Immediately after, a few of us went on a tour of Tervis Tumblers, their packing and distribution location, same area, Toledo Blade and 75, the Benderson Building, and that was awesome. I also want to mention for both of those events, we were joined by Meredith Ivy, who is the acting secretary for the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity, and I just want to give kudos to staff for getting someone of her, how would I say, visibility to state government, her stature. Kudos to you, it was great, and she was a delightful person. Also attended along with city manager, the Council of Governments meeting. What was very interesting, one of the main topics of that meeting was public comment. A number of municipalities are being challenged in today's environment with public comment. And I just really wanted to bring it up because as the different municipalities and the county shared how they were handling public comment, our city has one of the most inclusive policies, if not the most inclusive policies of any of the municipalities in our county, including the county. So I think we can be pretty proud of that. Also attended the Northport Area Chamber of Commerce Economic Development and Government Relations Committees. They're always interesting. Pinewood Derby, an annual favorite, had, along with two residents of Northport who were here and supportive of the original annexations of that property to the city, went on an tour of Welland Park in that beastly all-terrain vehicle. I had my kidneys jangled, my eardrums blown out, but it was just a great, great tour. I hadn't been out there in a very long time, and boy, the changes are just phenomenal. I would have loved to see you on that. I was in the back bouncing around. I'm sure it was quite the humorous look. Also did a couple of PR things. I was interviewed along with several members of staff of the Business View I also participated with Rick Johnstone from WKDW. I know Vice Mayor pretty regularly goes on one of his shows as well. And the Braves game, awesome, always wonderful to have an excuse to go out to that park. It's just gorgeous. So that is it from me. City Manager, anything from you?
No, Madam Mayor, thank you.
You're welcome. City Attorney?
No, ma'am.
Okay, City Clerk? Well, I think we've done all of our business. I think it's a wrap. So it is 1:38 p.m. and this meeting, this regular meeting of the Northport City Commission is adjourned.